All right, what's going on, everybody? Who we 186 back again with the Overrated Podcast, episode 122. And obviously you have Steve here. What's going on?
Yeah, Traditionalist 101 is here. Ladies and gentlemen, hope you all had a great weekend. And we also have another good friend of ours who is now joining us. Go ahead, Dark.
It's BHC Cross Dark, Black Hood Crew, YouTube and Facebook. By all means, follow along. I know it's been missing in action for a while, but slowly coming back.
All right, good,
Yeah,
good,
yeah,
good, good,
yeah.
good,
You
good,
actually
good.
been invited to quite a couple of things, but yeah, we missed you last week. Was it last week? Yeah, we missed you last week, man. It would have been really cool if you had joined us with the awards. Like the reaction that we had with some of the things that were revealed was just phenomenal. Um, but I'm pretty sure when there's another one, you'll definitely be able to come around. If
Well, it would be really nice if they did the damn awards on like a Friday or Saturday night or something, man. But a Thursday, really? Like, come on.
It's always been on Thursday. As long
Oh,
as I
that's
can remember, it's always been on Thursday.
I think you're right. I think yeah, the Game Awards has always been. I don't ever remember them on a weekend. I'm trying to look back and remember. I don't think it ever has been on the weekend. I think usually the weekends were like I think it's like the movie awards or the music awards. I think, but as far as
I
gaming,
think
yeah,
that's a missed opportunity.
Hmm. But anyways, yeah. So we have a lot to we have a lot to cover.
Hmm.
Now, before we do, we gotta give a huge congratulations to Traditionalist. He bought himself a new truck. Yeah,
oh.
homeboy got himself a new vehicle after. Whew, crap! After what happened to the old car? What happened to the old Jeep?
Oh, I still have it.
Oh, are you still gonna drive it?
Yeah,
You're still gonna have you're still keeping it. You're not gonna why selling a Jeep like that. That's gonna be difficult.
yeah. That one is going to be hard, and plus, it's been part of my life like for so many years. I just said, you know what, I'll just keep it. Let me just keep it for now.
Dude's a traditionalist even with his cars. It's crazy.
And
Well, I mean, if it still works and it gets you to point A to
Yeah,
point B, why not, right?
yeah,
yeah,
I agree with
yeah,
that.
yeah. I mean, and bro, a lot everybody loves the car. Everyone is constantly congratulating me. With it. And you know what? I might as well just show what it looks like. I'm posting it on Twitter now, so I'm gonna share on Twitter real quick. As I'm looking for you guys to continue to talk. I'm gonna show you guys real quick.
Yeah. So
All right.
so like I said, we have a lot to talk about. So like I said, want to acknowledge Malta. What's going on, bro? Nolan, what's going on, man? Like I know you prefer Tuesdays. Um, Tuesdays are tough for me because I have to go to work. So hopefully, I don't know. Hopefully, with the whole moving thing that I'm kind of dealing with right now, hopefully, if I can get a new job, hopefully we can do Tuesdays. Hopefully we can do you know more than one podcast a week, like Steve wants to do. But
Mhm.
in
Yeah,
the meantime,
that's never going to happen.
well, I mean, it depends on what happens over the next couple months. You know what I mean? Because like I said, we are in the process of beginning to move, and it's gonna be a big change. So lots of things to go around my head. But anyways, I know you got the card pictures ready.
I think so. You know how it takes like a couple of seconds for
Mhm.
it to post on Twitter. And dude, until this day, I still can't get the name right. I know it's called X, but can I say this, real quick before we start? That is such a stupid name. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it is.
That is such a stupid name. X. Like, oh, I just posted on X today. Oh, did
Yeah,
you see
it's
that?
done.
Did you see the news that happened on X? Like, do you see how weird that sounds, man? Maybe
It
it's just
sounds ridiculous. Ultimately, I think it was just Elon Musk saying, "Hey, I just spent a ridiculous amount of money on something that wasn't worth it, but I'm still super edgy. So let me change it to the edgiest letter there is, X."
Hmm. Yeah.
yeah. Okay,
Yep.
so I have yeah. That's funny. So I have
Oh man,
picture now. So I don't have the full
Please
body.
don't. Yeah. Please don't show the license plate.
No, no,
Yeah.
no. I don't have the full body. I just have the front. But yeah,
Mhm.
this is my baby right here. I
Mhm.
don't know if you guys can see it.
Nice. Very nice. That's
Yeah.
a what?
It's a Toyota Tundra.
Tundra. Okay, nice.
Yeah,
That's
it's
a
a
good
good.
Oh,
car.
you didn't go American?
No, no.
Hmm.
American cars are garbage.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that's a done deal.
That's interesting, Mr. USA over here.
Yeah, American. Look, look, look. If your product is no good, I'm not supporting garbage products. I'm not doing that. It's still my money at the end of the day. And if your product can't last a long time, then I have no use for you. Now, granted, the one American product that is good is the Ram. If I remember correctly, I think they won the last, I think, 10 awards. Oh no, the last 8 awards of best performing cars. Toyota won one, and I think Chevy won two of them. I think in the past 12 years. So when it comes to performance, like Ram is like the way to go. Like they just been like top of the line as far as performance. But I think Toyota still wins as far as durability
Mhm.
is concerned.
Do you have any other pictures?
No, this is the only one I have, so we could go back to
Mm.
yeah. This is
You
the
need
only
to
one.
get more pictures.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll post a couple more, but yeah, it was definitely time for me to get a new vehicle. I definitely believe that now, with this vehicle that I have, I could, come up with different ideas. I could, start, doing more gigs on the side instead of just relying on my SUV, which could, you could barely put anything in there as far as loading up tools and stuff like that. So with the truck, man, sky's the limit, man. With all the opportunities you could do business wise.
It's nice having a truck. I
Well,
drive one
congratulations.
as well. Take a wild guess what I drive.
A Tundra.
Nope.
Oh,
Ram
okay.
1500.
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
So
Oh,
you were
Okay.
just talking about the Ram. I drive a Ram.
no, you got that. That's awesome. That's awesome. That's awesome.
All right. All right. Well, congratulations.
Right
So.
on.
Hmm. So, all right. So, did Secret? Did you watch the Game Awards on Thursday, or have you seen it
I
in any
had
capacity?
I did not see it, but I caught, a list of the winners and everything
Hmm.
afterwards online. So the actual footage, I'm getting it little by little through TikTok and clips here and there. Um, but yeah, I can definitely see why like one of your topics or the first one, how devs are mad, and
Hmm.
he didn't give enough time. Like I literally saw
Oh,
some of the acceptance
yeah,
speeches.
And
we'll get to it. Hold
Yeah,
on, hold on, hold on. We'll
I
get
know.
to it. We'll get
Yeah.
to it. But what was your most hype announcement?
Uh, there's quite a few
If you
things
had
that I
one.
am looking forward to.
Hmm.
But nothing really that got me like super hype. Really.
really,
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
like don't get me wrong. They made some good announcements for stuff that people were looking forward to. Um, if it hasn't already been if it wasn't already announced, you know, like giving a trailer is good.
Hmm.
But anything that actually like had me like, ooh, I can't wait. No, nothing.
Okay, okay, okay. For me, it was Sega. That was my most hype.
Okay.
Yeah, that was my most hype.
Yeah, I'm gonna have
Yeah,
to.
having those. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with Hoovy 186. Yeah, Sega was a really big hit. I Now obviously I got it wrong, but before we had started the podcast last week, I thought was when Sega said we was gonna have a big announcement, I thought they was going to showcase a new console. I thought that
Oh,
was going to be the announcement. I thought it was going to be a new console, and 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 I think Hoovy for a quick second when I was going all crazy,
Hmm.
I'm like screaming and whatnot. When
Yeah, for a quick, cause the trailer showed them show like an arcade, right?
hmm
And for a quick second, I'm like, oh shit, no, I didn't, cause when Steve said, oh, it might be a new console before, I was like, no, that's not gonna happen. But then when they showed the arcade, I was
yeah,
like, oh, whoa, wait a minute, wait a minute. But then they showed then they showed the game that they're making, and I'm hyped. I'm hyped for it. Like we need these type of games in the
Right.
industry. You know what I mean?
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as man, I would should I show it? Well, as they were, you heard the logo, Sega,
Hmm.
and you see like everything starts turning blue, and then you see the arcade, bro. I am just like going nuts. Like the camera was off because I was having camera issues, but I'm going nuts. I'm saying we're getting a new console. I'm just like all hyped up about it. But then we got games. We got games like all the traditional, Sega franchises. I'm like,
Hmm.
what? Like this is great. This is still good. I'm happy about it. But man, for a good five
Split
10.
second there.
Oh my
They
god.
had you.
I thought we was getting a new console, man. And I'm telling you right now, if that were to happen, I promise you, I am getting it day one. I am, bro. I probably might even buy two of them,
Look,
just for the simple fact that man, it'll have been the console. But go ahead.
as somebody who's actually owned a Dreamcast, it was a great console, but ultimately, it it couldn't compete then, and I knew with that, like, not for nothing, when Sega says they're done with something, they're done. And the
Mhm.
Dreamcast was their last console. They officially were like, we're out, we're done. So for them to announce something new, that would be like them essentially going back on their own word. And they're a Japanese company. They're not known for stuff like that.
Well, the thing that I probably might push back just a little bit is that when you say that they couldn't compete, like they had the games were there. Like
They did.
all the games, and remember, mind you, a lot of those great games were, I guess, temporarily exclusive for the Dreamcast at the time. It's, such as and some of the games never went to cross-platform, like Power Stone, for example,
You're
or
right.
Rival School. But with Capcom versus SNK, with Soul Calibur, with Crazy Taxi, like they had the games were there. They had fantastic games. I don't know if it wasn't a competition issue as far as games. Like the games were there.
The problem that they had is when they came out for a short period of time, I mean, short period of time, they were the top dog. They had the games, they had the console, they had everything. And then the PS2 dropped, and that was it. PS2 had a superior game library, superior everything, and and ultimately at that point they couldn't compete. The Dreamcast fell to the wayside, and the PS2 ended up being one of the greatest consoles ever released, with
Mhm.
still topping the list in terms of units sold over its lifetime. In fact, it only recently ended. It only recently got to its um, end of life service with Sony recently. We're in 2023 right now. So the Dreamcast was pretty much on top of the world, and it immediately went DOA as soon as the PS2 dropped. And there was nothing they could do. Like, even though they had great games, don't get me wrong, great games on the Dreamcast.
Yeah.
And a lot of them never got ported over, but ultimately they couldn't compete with the PlayStation 2. They just couldn't.
Yeah. Okay. Any thoughts you have, Hoovy?
Well, I don't think in this day and age, it's very hard for anybody to enter the console space.
Hmm.
It's just hard, man. Like if Google couldn't do it, and the amount of money they have, I think Sega. I think I get it. Sega has the library, but they look at what they've done as a third party studio slash slash publisher. Like like their Sonic games sell very well around across the board, including on Nintendo.
Hmm.
And do you want to risk that to make a new console that may not work? It's hard. It's very hard for.
They're not
It's
going
very
to take that risk.
yeah. And don't get it twisted. The game that they're making right now, and for those of you who missed it, it's Jet Set Radio, which I'm most excited about.
I know you went nuts for that
Crazy, yeah, Crazy Taxi,
Hmm.
Golden Axe, Streets of Rage, and there's one more. What am I missing? What am I missing? What am I missing? Yeah, I can't remember.
Yeah, I
But
was gonna.
those games they're making, they're a risk also.
They
They're a
are,
risk
yes.
also because it's not Sonic. You know what I'm saying? And they're going deeper in their bag, and I hope it does well. That's why I'm for sure buying Jet Set Radio. I'm probably gonna buy Crazy Taxi as well because I like Crazy Taxi. When I liked it a lot when growing up. So I'm excited for their future. I'm very happy that they're going back to their roots when it comes to the games that they're making. And Shinobi, that was the last game, Shinobi.
Hmm.
Oh, okay, okay.
And
Yeah,
Yo,
I
yo.
hope it does well. I hope it does well. So
Yeah. There it is. There.
yeah. So this is the one that me and Hubi was most excited about. But yeah,
Mhm.
when I saw this, I'm thinking, wait a minute. I saw controller. I'm like, all right. I'm going nuts right here.
um, uh, can you fast forward to the can
Go
you
ahead.
fast forward to the games? Fast forward to the games.
Did you save the game?
Really?
Yeah, like right here is when I went nuts. This right here is where I went completely nuts. This is where I'm like, okay, yeah, we're getting a new console, y'all. I was just going crazy.
Let me reintroduce you.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited for this. Even Shinobi looks great. I love the way
Yeah.
Shinobi looks.
Yeah, yeah, I agree.
Everything looks fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I was hyped about this. Hubi was hyped about it. Like everyone, my critical drop was hyped. It was just crazy, man. It was crazy. Not a new console. Not a new console. I understand that, but hey, I'm still happy. I'm still happy.
Absolutely. And
Oh
there's plenty to be happy for because they may those might not have been like mainstay titles, like big things, like your Sonic, but they were still great games when they were out. They still hold a lot of nostalgia factor for a lot of people, and for to see these titles essentially get brought into the modern age, I I think Sony. I think so, listen to me. I think Sega has definitely got a win on their hands with each one of those titles.
Yeah,
oh
I
yeah.
agree.
Oh,
I agree.
absolutely. And I'm actually interested to see how the direction that they're taking Streets of Rage, because when I saw how they're making everything 3D with Streets of Rage,
Hmm.
I was just like blown away with that. Like I'm very interested to see how that's going to work.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. But it wasn't all well. Obviously, with this recap, we had Baldur's Gate was a big winner.
Hmm.
Have you played that game?
I've played a little bit of it, but it's mostly, like watching other people play through
Yeah.
YouTube videos uh, and TikTok clips and things of that nature. But again, the better game won. I'm not saying it's bad, but I had my favorite and it didn't win.
Okay. It was between those two games. It was between
Yeah,
that and Tears of the Kingdom. That's what it was between.
yeah.
And based on kind of based on what I've seen people talk about throughout the year, I felt like Baldur's Gate 3 was the favorite, and and ultimately it won. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Exactly.
Props to them. But what are you
Of
showing us
course.
right here?
Yeah, that
Oh, that's the list right there.
yeah, this when Baldur's Gate 3 won, I mean, I said to myself, I kind of was hoping that you already know I'm going to be biased about this, but it is what it is. I know you thought that it was gonna be Zelda, and I
Mhm.
remember who we mentioned. I think you mentioned Spider Man, didn't you?
No,
Who? I could have
no.
sworn.
I said it was. Oh, between those games, though, that Spider-Man was gonna be the one that I wanted to win, but I knew it wasn't.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, I felt the same way with Resident Evil. And speaking of Resident Evil, like I had, I just want to gloat a little bit. I just want to be a little prideful or arrogant. But like I said, Seifring, I told you that they were going to make that list. You didn't believe me, and who didn't believe me. But I
So
knew that Resident Evil 4 was going to make the cut. Like
I
I
I
knew it.
knew they were gonna make the list, but I still don't think they deserve to be on that list.
Uh,
Simple as that. Because at the end of the day, it's not a new IP. It's not a new game, and it's not a sequel to a game. It's literally a remake of a re-release of a remake of a re-release of a game that came out on the GameCube damn near over 10 years ago. So does it deserve to be on the Game of the Year list? No. Is it still a great game? Yes. I actually just finished the Resident Evil 4 remake not too long ago myself. And yes, it's a great game. But is it Game of the Year worthy even to be considered? No.
it
Yeah,
almost seems like you're saying that they it's cheating or it's not fair that they make the cut.
no, it's not, no,
It seems
No, no,
like
no.
it's not.
okay, go ahead.
I would say that in a year where there was a bunch of games that could have been nominated, yeah, you would like to have seen a new IP, not even a new IP, maybe a new game that's not based off of a game that's already made should have been there.
I'll give you a perfect example. I
Okay,
am a huge fan of Nintendo. You guys know this. I love my Zeldas. I love my Mario.
of
This
course.
year they came out with Super Mario RPG Remake, right?
Hmm.
Did you guys see that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that game should not be on the Game of the Year list next year. If they even try to nominate it, it should not be on that list. Still a great game.
Hmm.
I still have it. I love it. I bought the physical copy of Super Mario RPG, and I love that game to death. But
Hmm.
it does not deserve to be on the Game of the Year list ever because, again, it's not a new game. It is a remake, a re-release, or a remaster. However you want to classify it, those games should have their own category. There should be the triple R category: remake, re-release, and remaster. That should be their own category. Who did it best? That should be its own category. But should they fall onto Game of the Year? Not at all.
So despite the fact that it was revolutionized, it was the graphics was enhanced, controllers were better. It felt like it was a completely different game. Now, my
It's still
argument
the
has
same game.
my argument has always been this: if this was The Last of Us, where the previous gen, where The Last of Us, was made, and
Mhm.
they immediately made another Last of Us, a remake of it, I could understand that point. If it was just a remaster, I could understand that point. But the fact that this was like 3 generations ago, and the fact that everything was completely enhanced, it felt like a completely different game. I believe that it's justified why it was a video games game of the year nominee. The same way how I use the same argument, if they had made a Metal Gear game from the Nintendo and they use this technology to make the game, it'll be two completely different games. And I don't think it should be disqualified just because it was made before a long time ago in old, technology instead of in modern technology, like what happened like what happened with Last of Us 2. If it was a situation like that, I would 100% agree with you because it's pretty much just a copy and paste with just new graphics. But that's not the case with Resident Evil 4.
Nah, I think that they should be immediately disqualified from being Game of the Year, whether they are remaster, re-release, or remake. No matter
So
how different they change it, no matter how much they change, whether it's just graphics, whether it's graphics and controls, they add content on. At its core, it's still the same game, and that's where the problems come in.
Well,
Because
Brian, Brian. Mhm.
Resident Evil 4 remake is great, but if you peel away the new graphics, the controller change, and whatever added content, it's still Resident Evil 4. Like it didn't become anything different. It's still Resident Evil 4. In fact, they pulled stuff out of the game that the original had. So if anything, it's less like Resident Evil 4 than it was, while still
Yeah,
keeping the game, but still not being a new game.
Brian agrees with Steve.
Not because there's
Yeah,
enhancements and
exactly.
change, but
What's
it's
up,
still the
Brian?
same game. It's still the same game. You can enhance and change and do whatever you want. Once you make too many changes and it honestly becomes a new IP, now we're talking. And that's what happened. Like, and I'll give you a perfect example of this. During the development of the original copy of Resident Evil 4, they had a team that was working on the game, and they're like, okay, let's make it as different from the original as possible. And they did, and they were tweaking and tweaking and tweaking. And when that, what ended up happening, they created something entirely new, and that new game was Devil May Cry. Devil May Cry came out of the development of Resident Evil 4. But that's what happens when you tweak a game so much that you now create something new.
Mhm.
They did not do that with Resident Evil 4 Remake. It's still the same game. They changed graphics, they changed the controller scheme, but underneath all of that, it's still the same game. They're not bringing anything new to the table.
You know, throughout all this, we're discussing games. We're cheering for our favorite game. We're having a good time. You know
Yes.
who didn't have a good time? Developers. And the
No, they
reason
didn't.
why is because of this right here. Now, this
Yep.
is something that I didn't really think about watching it, but looking back on it, it is kind of effed up,
Mhm.
right?
It was a slap in
Now,
the face.
yeah, cause Steve, we were watching the show, right? Did
Yeah.
you notice multiple times? Well, first of all, how many awards were actually presented on stage? I'd
A
probably say
lot.
like no.
Like when you said the gaming awards,
No, how many
Like
like
actually
awards were actually given out to developers?
on
oh,
stage.
on stage. Not that much.
Yeah, not that
Okay,
many.
so in a
For an
span of
award show,
3
mind you.
hours,
Hmm.
really, like you guys couldn't spend any time on the people who actually make the games that you're presenting. Like, so then what the hell are the awards about then?
Yeah, honestly, it's about
Like,
premieres. It's about celebrities. It's about clout.
then don't call it the
That's
Game
what it's
Awards
about.
then. If you're
Yeah.
not going to celebrate the people who develop the games that you're giving awards to, then you're no longer should be calling yourselves the Game Awards because at that point you're not celebrating the games. You're not celebrating the people behind those games
Hmm.
at
I
all.
think they celebrate the games existing, but that's
Yeah,
about
but
it.
not really celebrating them because okay, a game comes out, whoop de flip and do, but they have no idea what really goes into some of these games. Like I've been on the development side of games. That takes time, it takes
Yeah.
dedication, it takes money, it takes a toll on every single person developing these titles. So when you give an award to a game like Baldur's Gate 3, which visually alone looks like something that they put their foot in it. Like I'm talking about they put their time and effort into making this game what it is, but and you turn around and say, "Hey, you know what? You made a great game. We're going to give you all these awards." But when it's time for you to actually be celebrated for it, no, you got to keep it under 30 seconds, under 40 seconds. Get the hell out of here, man.
Yeah,
Come on.
and they had, and funny. They played the first time they played the wrap up music was when Christopher Judge was on, right? And for those of you who didn't
But
watch last year,
that was
Christopher
because
Judge
of
won.
last year's speech.
Yeah, yeah. So he won an award, and he spent like 8 minutes talking. You know what I mean? So I think that was the idea of what Jeff Keighley wanted to do. The problem is that when you have so many little awards that are presented on stage, and yet you give them only 30 seconds to get their stuff in before you play the music, that's disrespectful to the devs, and including one dev who was talking about a team member who died,
Mm-hmm.
and they got hit with the wrap up music.
Literally in the middle of the
And
speech.
yeah,
That's disrespectful.
yeah. And the thing with Jeff Keighley is I don't have no issue with Jeff Keighley, right? Like I know the award
Mm-hmm.
show has been varied degrees of either good or very bad. Like either it's too long, well, definitely still too long, it's too damn long, right?
Yeah.
So he's trying to find a balance between commercial acceptance and honoring the devs, right? And this year he took a big shit on the devs. He did. He can deny it all he wants. That's what he did.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
But truth be told, I like the show. Still too long, but I like the show.
I mean,
Yeah,
So
like if you're gonna have a show that's 3 hours long, at least fill it with stuff that people want to see. Like, okay, show me games winning awards or show me something new. But like, I don't care for celebrities. I don't know if you guys can catch that vibe for me, but I don't give a rat's ass about celebrities. Don't give me a pretty face or a famous title or whatever. Give me something of substance. And if all you're gonna do is just sit there and like basically placate to people with a celebrity face or anything like that, like you know what? These are the game awards, dude. Show me games. Show me titles. Like it. Like if anything, you want a better award show. Every time there's a commercial break, only show trailers for new games. That's it.
you use the world premieres as
As the
commercial basically.
actual commercial breaks.
Yeah,
That way, the
I
people
don't
won't
I don't
even
mind
turn
that
away.
idea. I don't mind that idea.
Like you gotta think about it. When do people most times get up or they're looking away from the TV during a commercial break? You know, the
Hmm.
show's like, oh, we'll be back after this commercial break. Okay, person goes and gets up, they go use the bathroom, get something to eat, something to drink, they have a little chat, they pull out their phone, they're doing something else. But if you say, hey, oh, we'll be back after this game trailer, people are like, well, excuse me, what? And they'll pay more attention. So yeah, the game awards is actually just the awards and the devs, and they use the commercial breaks to showcase new games. At least I think that
Yeah,
would be a better way of doing it.
I expect that. But the thing is that you have you give the devs 30 seconds. You mentioned celebrities, Dark. You give the devs 30 minutes to do their thing. But you give celebrities all the time in the world to talk. All the
Exactly.
time in the world to talk. You gave Anthony Mackie time to talk, right? And then especially Kojima. Y'all know how much he loves himself on Kojima. Give him
yeah,
all the time in the world to talk about a game that may not be a game or whatever, and then bring out Jordan Peele, and they
Hmm.
got they got all the time in the world. It's a bad
Yes,
look. It's a bad look. It's a bad look either way. So
it is.
I don't know, man. It's a bad look. Let's see what you got to say.
no, I actually now that I was actually in a disagreement until you mentioned the celebrities. I completely forgot about how they gave the celebrities, all the time in the world, but they didn't show that same respect to the developers, to people who are actually responsible of making the game and making the game good.
And the
Celebrities,
reason why the awards exist.
yeah, the celebrities they didn't do anything for me.
Nope.
What did they do? They didn't do anything for me. They didn't do anything to enhance the game. Like they weren't involved in the game development or in the artwork or the play style. Like none of that. So I now that you mentioned that, because I completely forgot about that point. It is a disrespect, to the developers and to the industry as a whole, because this is a way for us to celebrate all the nominees in each category, and you failed to people who we supposed to be give the recognition to barely any camera time, and I
Hmm.
don't think that's right. I think that's a real disservice to the fans, to just to the industry as a whole. This isn't the um 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 what do you call it? Music awards or whatever. Like
The
this
Oscars.
gaming awards. Yes.
Yeah, these are not the Oscars. Like we're not here to see people who are famous just for being famous, or they're in movies, a TV show, whatever. We want to see games. We want to see people who make games. If we want to see them actually enjoy receiving an award, stating, "Hey, I made the best game in this category," or in the side of or on the side of the Game of the Year award, "Hey, I made the best game this year," and yet you don't give them any time to actually take it in, and you see them on stage actually give that gratitude to literally us, the actual consumer who who made it what it is, who made them where they are.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, if we're not buying games, they're not getting shit.
Hmm.
So
Oh,
ultimately, it comes down to us.
were you going to read the article on Hulu?
Not really. We kind of covered everything we needed to cover. The only other thing I wanted to mention is that he also got criticized, Jeff Keighley, for not mentioning the layoffs that happened this year. You know what I mean? And to me, I mean, I don't like. I get it, but I mean, I don't know. They're just piling on at this point when it comes to Jeff.
I think that's a fair criticism. I think that's a fair criticism. Like we need developers to make games, right? And when you're talking about the game industry as a whole, like everything comes down to game development. And
But I feel like that's something he should do every year because we have layoffs every year. Every game is gonna have a level of layoffs. You know what I'm saying? Now this year was obviously as bad as I've seen it. I can remember seeing it, and I can understand people wanting him to address it. But there's nothing. I mean, if he addresses it, it's gonna make those people feel better. No, it's not
I
gonna
mean,
make them feel better.
ultimately,
It's just
ultimately, it's not his fault.
yeah.
He's not the one that has to give the pink slips. He's not the one that's telling people, "Hey, we have to let you go." It's not up to him. Like he's not even on that side of things. Should he have made a real mention of it at the awards? Not really, because again, ultimately, he's not on the business side of that. He's got his thing. That's this. Um, would we hope that people don't get laid off? Obviously, nobody wants people to lose their jobs, lose their livelihoods. Nobody wants that. But should he have made
I'll
like
be right back. That's
a
all.
big thing about it? Sure. Should he have made like a big thing about it at the Game Awards? Not necessarily. I mean, I'm not going to turn around and say that he absolutely shouldn't, but at the same time, like he's not really in any way inclined to say anything anyway. I mean, why would I listen to this guy anyway? He's not on that side of the business.
Okay,
But
so what you're saying is that he's just it's not his responsibility to give like news or I'm sure his thoughts about something that he has no control over. Is what.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Because like he has no control over it. So why do I care about his opinion about it? Do your job, present the awards appropriately, and give people the time they need on the awards themselves. You know what I mean? Which is again going back to the whole you know giving appropriate time to the people who actually make the games versus some random celebrity who's on there talking about Lord knows what.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think we're good on that. Like I said, I enjoyed the show, but
Mhm.
that the stuff with the dev that's kind of bad. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I think that's kind of messed up. And but overall, I love the show. The only thing that I complained about on the show was just I think apart. I don't know. I forgot who I was having this discussion with. I don't know if it was you, Dark, but I think we were saying along those lines. If it wasn't you, my mistake. But I think we were saying something along those lines where it felt very suspicious that Baldur's Gate was winning all of these awards. And and look, I want to try the game out, but I don't think the physical is coming until next year, if I remember correctly.
No, the game's you can buy it. You can buy it in the store right now.
Not for PS5.
Yeah, of course you can. Yeah,
Is the game out for PS5 right now, Dark?
yeah.
Let me do a quick search here.
I don't think it is. At
Oh,
least
yeah.
at least not the physical copy.
Steve, it's out right now.
Oh, he's gonna check right now.
Wow, that's not a good look. I just checked at BestBuy.com and I searched the Baldur's Gate 3 and the first game that popped up was Final Fantasy 16.
Hmm.
So that's not a good look.
So I think I'm doing this getting warmer here.
Okay, let's see. Here we go. Da, 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 da. Okay, so yes, there will be a physical copy, but it's not available yet.
I knew it.
It will be available the first quarter of 2024. So that's going into next year.
What did I just tell you, Hoovy?
So
Were
you
you
can
wrong?
Really?
so you can get the digital copy now, obviously, but the physical copy will be available starting next year. As it currently stands, there will be da, 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 double dip. So okay, so there's going to be a deluxe edition of the game
Okay.
for PC, PlayStation 5, and the Xbox Series X coming quarter 1 of 2024. It's going to cost $79.99, so $80. But the deluxe edition comes with Baldur's Gate 3 on disc with the box, the original soundtrack on 3 CDs. I don't know, they still did that. A cloth copy of the world map of the game, 2 patches. I'm guessing like iron-on patches for like jackets or book bags or whatever. Stickers, like actual stickers, like we're 2 years old.
Yeah.
And a poster for Baldur's Gate 3.
Oh, wow. Okay, I was wrong. I thought it was physical. Oh, well.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Yeah. You were wrong, and I think I knew what I was talking about because I actually was trying to see where I could buy the game, and I couldn't find it anywhere to purchase. So
Yeah.
I was saying to myself, and I didn't want to bring this up now, but I'll just just share my quick thoughts real quick, and we can move on. I'm getting really irritated how they intentionally want you to purchase the digital copy first and have the physical copy come out later. Like I think that really is. I just find that very irritating in my opinion. I don't ever recall, and you guys, just refresh my memory, and maybe I'm mistaken. I don't ever recall this happening before, back in the PS3 360 days, or back in the PS4 Xbox One days, where the digital copies will come out first over the physical. Usually, weren't they coming out at the exact same time?
No,
No.
what ended up happening, it depended on the platform that you were on. If you were playing PC, like myself, you only had access to the digital copy. That was it. But if you played on the home console, like your PlayStation 3s, your Xboxes, then yes, they had physical games that you can actually go and buy, box, disc, and all. As we started to see, and I think this has become a thing. I know that we've talked about this before, digital copy versus a physical copy. As the world moves on to a more digital age, and this is entirely dependent on access to internet. That's basically what it is. The more people that have access to internet, the more inclined companies are to release stuff as digital, because that way it cuts down on actual costs of developing, box art, boxes, discs, and all that stuff, and then having those things produced and then sit on a shelf for Lord knows how long before somebody comes by and picks it up. Where a digital copy, yeah, it's available 24/7 for those that actually want it.
Yeah, and I remember if you go to GameStop right now, you'll find games that originally released, digital, have a physical release later on.
Hmm. Yeah,
You know
but
what I
now
mean?
that's
Like,
becoming the trend: is digital
yeah,
first, then physical.
But I thought that was something that was just happening, just recently. I don't recall that happening,
no,
2
it definitely
generations.
happened during the PS4 era.
Oh yeah, no, that was
It
definitely a
definitely
thing that
happened during
started
the
with the
PS4.
PS4.
Yeah,
That's for
Mm.
yeah.
sure. Like
So
prior to that, like prior to the release of the PlayStation 4 and that generation of consoles, we didn't see this push for digital content being made first. It was always physical
Hmm.
copy, and then later on a digital. Or again, for PC users, they always had access to the digital copy. But now we're starting to see the reverse happening: digital coming out first, and then the physical copies are coming out.
Okay.
yeah,
Well, on
um,
that note, yeah, I guess we could move on. I'm still disappointed that this is the trend that we're going to,
Hmm.
and it irritates me, but it is what it is. But shout out to, I want to say, since we're moving on from the gaming awards, shout out to Street Fighter. They won best fighting game over
mhm.
Mortal Kombat, Nickelodeon, and Pocket Bravery. Like I don't know how that made the list. And I also want to give a shout out to obviously Legend of Zelda, which won best action adventure game
Hmm.
over, which is, I mean, fascinating, over Alan Wake and Spider Man and Resident Evil. So yeah, we can't go over everything. We have to move on. But man, it was a very great award show, and I'm definitely looking forward to the next year.
Hmm.
All right. So before we move on, um, Ruben's in the chat. What's going on, bro? And Joe's in the chat as well. He said, oh my god, he said, who on in who to Hubi's defense, the game is out on PS5, but Steve only wants physical copy, and people have been playing it on PS5. Yeah, I just thought that there were so many people playing it on PS5. I just assumed they had a physical copy, but I
No,
was wrong there.
digital.
So it's not a big deal. Yeah, it's not a big
Well, I
deal.
mean, I guess, yeah, I won't go too far on it. I guess we were both right and wrong. I guess at the same time, because, well, I mean, I knew the game was out. I just knew that it was out for the physical release. Which
Yeah,
once,
I thought it was already. I thought it had a. I didn't know it was only digital only. I didn't know that. So yeah, I was wrong. I was wrong. It's not a big deal. But let's talk about this. Is this a big deal? Let's go here. We saw this earlier today.
E3.
Um, this is from the ESA. After
Hmm.
more than 2 decades of E3, each one bigger than the last, the time has come to say goodbye. Thanks for the memories. Now we had talked about E3 before because the show that you were talking about with us before, it was when they announced the cancellation of E3 2022,
Yes.
right? And then
yeah,
Hmm.
and then at the time we all pretty much just assumed that it was dead. Now
Yeah.
the ESA has tried to keep it alive, but this is pretty much the white flag right here.
Yeah.
This is the white flag.
They're done.
After yeah,
I knew it.
Yeah, after Sega, and I listened to the podcast that we were watching, that I watched the podcast that we talked about it. After Sega left, I
Hmm.
think Microsoft was the last one of the big three to leave. After all those companies left, there was nothing for them to do. There was
Nothing.
nothing else for them to do. So this is officially the end of an era.
Yes.
Like Steve, I know you're not happy about it. I'll give you your opportunity to rant.
that's that was actually funny. But yeah, listen. I've stated, for the past year that E3 was the place where I actually wanted to go. I had made plans to, buy tickets, to get a hotel, do all that stuff because I really wanted to experience, to go in a live, showcase event based on video games. I really wanted to do that, and unfortunately now the coffin has actually closed. The coffin is actually buried, and there's really no going back to E3. So pretty much, we all missed the opportunity to experience a live E3 showcase.
Yes, we did.
Now, I'll say this: I really want to give the CEO of ESA, I think his name was Stan Lewis, I think his name was. I'm gonna have to give
Mhm.
him props because he tried his very best to keep it alive. And I remember back in 2022, just last year, he actually said that they were bringing back E3 in 2023, which was this year.
Hmm.
He pretty much tried everything he could to bring the show back, and the fact that now it's actually canceled, yeah, it definitely breaks my heart. But to me, I think this all leads to just companies being selfish. They only care about their own pockets. They don't care about the fans. They don't care about the gamers. All they care about, oh, it's just about convenience. Well, convenience also means, and to some aspect means that it creates an incentive for you to be lazy, and that's what they want to do. They're being lazy and they're being cheap. That's what they're doing. They're being lazy and they're being cheap. This was an opportunity for all gamers to come in as a community to celebrate video games together. And look, I'm so thankful that we still have all these other events that they could have stayed digital if they wanted to, or stayed online if they wanted to, like Evo, for example, or DC Fandom, for example. But they didn't do that. And thank God we still have Game Fest. Thank God we still have GamesCon. Thank God we still have, Tokyo Game Show. But E3 was like the WrestleMania of video games, in my opinion. E3 was like the Super Bowl on video games. That was the biggest show. No disrespect to GamesCon, no disrespect to Game Fest, Tokyo Game Show, and others. But I think E3 was like the biggest event when it comes to gaming. And I understand that some people say that, well, it's kind of E3's fault for being too expensive. I hear other arguments saying that it's E3's fault because they became a more social event. We're allowing consumers, instead of just focusing on the developers and the publishers. Which, I mean,
I did hear that.
what happened?
I did hear that criticism.
What I'm trying to figure out is how making an event like E3 becoming more social bad for the event. I couldn't understand the negative effects are.
I think I can shed some light on that, maybe a little bit.
Okay.
I think what they wanted to do was try to create something that brought people in and actually have them there spending money and ultimately buying a ticket, getting hotels, da da da. Yeah, they're spending money, they're coming to the event, but actually be able to give them stuff of substance right there, not just be a showcase where all you're doing is you're walking around and just going ooh and ah, but essentially leaving empty-handed per se. That's what they were trying to do: create a social event where people would go, vendors could show up and actually provide product that you can then say, hey, I'm at this event and hey, I can actually leave with this now. Before it was just, you can only go and, you took in a show, you took in a release, you took in, whatever, like pony show they put on for whatever new game, new app, or whatever was coming out, and then that was it, and you enjoyed that. But they tried to ultimately turn it into like a comic book convention. You go to a comic book convention and you can go there and catch shows and releases of new things, but there's also people there with product to sell, comic books. You have like anime posters and all kinds of stuff all over the place. So you can actually go there and spend more money at the event, and that's what they were trying to push for. Turn it into more of like uh, a convention than what E3 is supposed to be as a showcase.
What? That actually makes sense because when you go over there and then when you actually buy, merchandise, yeah, every that all that it creates and enhance the experience for us and the people who are selling the product. So in all honesty, I thought that's what E3 was doing the whole entire time.
No, unfortunately, like E3 has its thing, but only in recent years were you able to actually go there and like walk out with product in hand. But you can see they've been up for 20 years. It didn't start out like that. E3 started out as just a showcase where
Yeah.
you went, and all these companies got together and they said, okay, we're going to present the best we got. And that's what they did. But after a while, it was, here's the best we got. By the way, that dude's selling T-shirts. That dude's selling merchandise over there. You can get some coasters over there. Buddy in the back selling a water bottle with our logo on it. Like it started to become something like that. And ultimately, that's where the disconnect became. And again, it would have been nice to attend at least once. At least once.
Yeah.
Maybe not every year, but at least once. But unfortunately, we won't get that chance now.
Okay, so I think I misheard you. So what you're saying is the buying the games and comics or whatever it is, you're saying that's what they were doing, but it was a mistake, or are you saying that that's what they should have done?
No, I'm saying that it was a mistake to push too hard on that. Like they should have been like, okay, let's make it this big event and then leave it up to the developers or to the game companies if they want to provide product for people to buy. E3 was starting to push more for, okay, come and we're almost forcing you to spend more money. You already spent a ton on the ticket, but here's more stuff we're going to throw at you.
Are you there?
I'm still here.
Okay, I think Kubi.
No, I'm here.
Oh, you're here. Yeah, it sounds like we're out or something. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. We're good. We're good.
I was hearing other people in the background, like a whole other conversation.
Yeah. Me too. I'm like, I know for sure that's not me, but I'm assuming that's
not me. I'm alone in my room, so.
Yeah. So am I. But this was I wanted to read this one paragraph right here. So after more than 2 decades of hosting an event that has been served as a central showcase for the U.S. and global video game industry, the Entertainment Software Association has decided to bring E3 to a close. ESA President CEO Stan. Oh yeah, that's it. That's who I was talking about. Stanley Lewis told Washington Post, "We know the entire industry, players and creators alike, have a lot of passion for E3. Absolutely, we share the passion. We know it's difficult to say goodbye to such a beloved event, but it's the right thing to do given to the new opportunities our industry has reached fans and partners." See, I think
the internet.
He's trying to sugarcoat it. Like these are not new opportunities. Watching it over the internet is nothing new. Well, watching stuff over the internet and staying at your house with no type of human interaction, that's not new opportunities for me. There's absolutely no way, in my opinion. Now, if you guys know something that I don't, please share and indulge me. But there's absolutely no way you can enhance my experience by just watching it on my phone or watching it on my laptop. There's no enhanced experience over that. The only way that you could actually have a great experience with better opportunities is actually going to the live event itself, in my opinion. For me. So I think he's just sugarcoating it. He's trying to soften the blow, but there's no new opportunities here. If there's no live event, there is no new opportunity for us or for you. Let me read this last part. This is the last part. Lewis told Washington Post E3 closure means video games and the surrounding business has blossomed in different ways, noting that any of the major game companies can create their own individual showcases. He likely alluded to the format popularized by Nintendo with its Nintendo Direct, which other publishers like Xbox and PlayStation utilize now. Which once again, like proves my point, we're just watching it online. That's it. That's exciting for our industry. No, it's not. It's not exciting for me. This is not excitement for me.
Yo,
I want to go to E3.
at the end of the day, there is an offset here. You have what is essentially people like yourself in the minority, people who want to attend and are willing to go out of their way to attend them. And then you have the majority who have never been able to go to any of these events, have no way, manner, or way really to actually attend these events. So they have to, in almost every single case, are forced to watch them from home, either on their computers, their phones, or if they have an internet enabled TV on there as well. Now, what I can think of is a compromise. You probably would not want to do something like this, but
Mhm.
think about it like this. How much do tickets to the Super Bowl go
Oh my
on
gosh.
average?
Lots
Dude,
and
dude.
lots of money.
Okay,
The cheapest one is over $1,000.
easily. Perfect. So, keeping that in mind, what do most people do come Super Bowl Sunday?
Watch at home.
They watch it at home,
Bingo.
or they
But
go
they
to a
watch it at home how?
Uh,
In most cases, what do people do?
Either they watch it on TV or they go to a friend's house to watch it,
And they have
or
a
go to a
Super
bar
Bowl party.
party. Yeah.
Exactly. So you're essentially throwing a social gathering in the confines of your home to watch something on TV. Why can't we treat the next the next Nintendo Direct or whatever the Xbox and PlayStation ones are in the same fashion? Instead of having a Super Bowl party, maybe a Nintendo Direct party.
well, I
Why can't
mean,
that be a thing?
well, when you watch Nintendo Direct or the Sony Showcase, it's completely night and day when you compare that to E3. Because with E3, you have all the developers and publishers there in that event. Nintendo, all you getting is Nintendo stuff. Sony Showcase, all you're getting is Sony stuff. With E3, you get everything. Yeah, and which is the reason why I don't want to veer off, but just to make a point, which is the reason why I still appreciate Comic Cons, till this day. You have your comics, you have your movies, you have your animes, you have people dressing up as costumes. Like it's still a great experience as a social gathering, celebrating
Mhm.
anime, celebrating comics and whatnot. You completely remove all of that by getting rid of E3. All the social stuff that we could interact with, because I said it in the Discord, human interaction will always be far superior than just watching something online. I would much rather prefer to play video games at your house, at Hubi's house, than just playing online. You know what I'm saying? Human interaction will always be far better. And I personally believe when it comes to E3, it should be treated the exact same way, the same way how DC fandom did it, the same way how it's done in Evo, and the same way how it's done in Comic Con, Mega Cons, and all these other great social events. I don't think for some weird reason that E3 is excluded from that. If you know what I'm saying, if you get what I'm saying.
I I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. I really do. But you have to keep in mind, you have to look at the industry. Like, look at the actual games themselves. You want to talk about, like E3 and a celebration of games? Look at games nowadays. Is there split screen multiplayer? No, it's gone. It's been gone for decades now. You can't find a single title, whether it's on PC or never been on PC, but on any home console. There's no PlayStation 5 game that has split screen multiplayer. There's no
G,
Xbox game with split
G,
screen multiplayer.
Gran Turismo 7 has it.
Gran Turismo, okay,
Yeah.
one game.
I
There's
think
maybe a couple others,
I
but
think
I mean,
as a whole,
yeah,
most
no, I
multiplayer
is
games
not a
are
thing anymore.
online. It's not a thing
Yeah,
anymore.
yeah,
And that's where the
yeah.
social gatherings were when we were growing up. That was our thing is we had the split screen multiplayer, you had the multiple controller ports on the front, and you would, you know, throw down on some GoldenEye or Smash Brothers or whatever the hell game that we were playing at the time, but you played together in the same room. But now it was with the push of the PlayStation 3, which became essentially that generation of game console was online. It kind of started a little bit with the original Xbox, but it didn't really become a big thing until the 360 came out. And that generation going forward up till now is now online only. You want to play multiplayer, two people with the same copy of the game, you hop on your console, you text or call each other, hey, just be online in 5 minutes or I'm gonna kick your ass. Like, you get online and you got online and you played for hours and hours and hours. But now our generation is now getting older. So our responsibilities are changing. And now the younger generation is only going to grow up in an online only environment when it comes to gaming. So those social gatherings are not going to be a thing. In fact, there's going to be less of them going forward because of that. At
Well,
least because of the gaming.
There's a question I'm going to ask you to do a little pushback, but I know you wanted something to say.
Okay. So like I said, we talked about this a year ago with the cancellation, right? And you said something very similar, where you said that you compared it to like SuperCon and DC fandom and all other stuff, right? And I remember saying now,
And Evo, and don't forget
yeah,
Evo, because remember,
okay,
let me just say this before you continue, because remember with Evo, they could have stayed playing online also when the whole COVID thing had happened. Just remind you.
okay, and I debunked that, then as well, and I will debunk it now again. Look, if these games are they cost a lot of money to make, and they've taken it longer and longer to make, right? So does it make sense for a Sony, for example, to go to E3 every single year, showing off the same games over and over again? Because that was what they were doing for a little bit before they stopped going, right? They were showing off games that we already saw, and there were certain games that frankly weren't ready. And if you're obligated to do this every year, where you're obligated to bring in employees, you're bringing executives to the show. You have to spend money on hotel. You got to spend money on floor space. It cost them. It's money that they were spending unnecessarily to do something that they could have done for a like they could have saved millions upon millions of dollars just doing their own thing with the state of play, where they don't have to travel nowhere. All they gotta do is show the games that they already have. The reason why DC fandom and all the other stuff that you mentioned is different. Well, let me tackle the DC fandom stuff first, right?
Okay.
You have multiple avenues of industries to display. You have movies, you have shows, you have comic book. If you don't, you most companies, either whether it's DC, Marvel, or anybody, everyone in between, they'll
Hmm.
have at least one show, one movie, one TV show, or one comic book to show, along with the appeal of bringing in the people, either as celebrities who play the roles on TV in the shows, or the writers who are writing the comic book. They have the appeal of bringing in those people. Those people care. The comic book people, the comic community, they care more about the individuals behind the scenes more than video game people do when it comes to their industry. I don't give a flying fuck about any individual dev. I
Wait,
do
wait.
not care.
Do you honestly believe people don't care about Kojima at all?
All right, he's one dude. He's one guy. He's one guy, and I'm not traveling all the way to California to see him. I'll
Well,
go there to see his game. I'll go there to play his game, but I'm not there to see him. We have nothing. What am I going to ask him about? About
And
about
that
about about how you made Metal Gear Solid like 20 years ago? I've seen the stories.
and
Okay.
that's
You
even
know what
if
I'm
you
saying?
had an opportunity to talk to him.
Exactly. Exactly. Like the industries are so vastly different. If you have nothing to show, why go to the event? You're just wasting money.
Well, I think
And,
I
and,
think.
and one more thing.
Mhm.
And everything that they could do, like I said, like I mentioned, and I mentioned this in the previous podcast when we talked about this. The PS5 was announced at State of Play. It wasn't announced at E3. It was announced at State of Play.
Mhm.
Like I don't remember when the Switch was announced, but it wasn't at E3. It wasn't. I don't think it was at E3. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't need E3 anymore. They don't. They have their own shows, and frankly, it's more cost effective for them. And yes, it's off that E3 is no longer a thing. And I do agree with C3 when it comes to him saying, well, they can't really monetize it the same way because what are you gonna do over there? Buy games over at E3? I mean, I could just go to Walmart down the street. Well, back in the day, I could have gone to Walmart down the street or GameStop and just buy the game. Where am I?
Okay.
Where am I going? Where am I going all the way to E3 to do something that I already do? That I already do. That I already do currently. Makes no sense.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is that the Comic Con, SuperCon, DC fandom, because they showcase video games, movies, comics, and etc. and animes and etc. that that's why it's more prevalent for them to remain as a social gathering. But video games, because it's only video games only exclusively, it doesn't make any sense for E3 to continue. My Now, if that's what you're saying, my pushback is, if that's the case, why do we still have Gamescom, Tokyo Game Show? Those are live events. Well, what was
They
the
are, but
what's the difference
but
between those three?
I'm gonna tell you right now. If they do the same thing, because I think the reason why is because in those countries, marketing games and stuff like that are done differently over there. But truth be told, I don't think Sony hasn't been to a Tokyo Game Show in the last couple of years, and they haven't done Gamescom in the last couple of years.
Wait, is that true?
So
See,
yeah,
Sony hasn't done Tokyo Game Show at all.
Let's
That's
see.
cool.
you can check it, but I'm pretty confident that they haven't been there the last couple of years. They'll have a game there that appears on PlayStation, but PlayStation themselves having a conference, no, they haven't done a Tokyo Game Show in several years.
That's interesting. That's
And they
interesting.
haven't done a Gamescom in several years also.
Okay, so Sony wasn't there last year at all.
Like no games, no Sony games were showcased.
Nowhere to be found.
Okay.
And regarding Evo, like
Yeah.
you can sell stuff at Evo. You can sell older video games. At E3, you're not doing that at E3. You're not doing that at E3. Not at least not to that same level. Plus, you have tons of merchandise when it comes to fighting games. You have you have controllers, arcade sticks. It's a gathering for enthusiasts of fighting games. It's a particular market, and they have a wide variety of fighting games, going from the mainstream ones. You have your 2D ones, 3D ones, anime, tag, whatever. You have all those different types of fighting games there, and plus,
Mhm.
including you have competition. Competition will always be a driving force for broadcasting and having events, because you can monetize it. You can monetize it. Why do you think we don't have some the Super Smash Bros. Tournaments? Because Nintendo for some reason feel like they don't want no one else monetizing their game except for them.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's stupid on Nintendo's part. Yeah.
At,
it
like
is.
at the end,
But
yeah, at the end of the day, it's a concept that is outdated. It is what it is. It's outdated.
Well,
I don't like admitting it, but it's outdated.
so would you be perfectly fine if Tokyo Gamescom and Game Fest and whoever else, you'd be perfectly fine if they all do the exact same thing and follow E3's route?
It don't matter. It don't matter what I think.
No, no.
It's
I'm
going
just
to
saying
happen eventually.
you be okay with that. That's what I'm asking you.
Steve. I mean, when it comes to Sony, they don't show nothing there. At Gamescom, they don't show nothing there. Like if all Microsoft doing is showing the same stuff they showed at E3, why am I watching? And the only reason why Tokyo Game Show is remotely at least a little bit interesting is if they show a fighting game or something like that.
Oh,
And I haven't seen that.
well, I mean,
And also take into account like you have Evo for that. You have Evo for that. So if they're going to announce a new like every new fighting game that I can think of was announced at Evo, not Tokyo Game Show.
well, yeah, Tokyo Game Show, like they show like a lot of RPGs and stuff like that. So like,
Yeah, and I'm not into RPGs.
And those are actually the favorite type of game of most Japanese players. They prefer RPGs.
And mobile.
Hmm.
They love
yeah,
mobile over there, and that I mean I don't give a shit about mobile. So at the end of the day, like I think it's going to happen eventually to the other two.
oh wow,
And
okay. So that's what
yeah,
you're predicting.
yeah,
Wow, and you agree, Seafring?
100% I agree because
Oh man,
again, he brings up all the same points and all really good points that the same things that suffered at E3 suffer at these other things as well. The number one thing is time. Over time, they're going to change. They're not going to change for the better. They're great social gatherings, but ultimately, at the end of the day, they're just if E3 fell, like what really hope do these other ones have? They're not as big. And yeah, they may cater a little bit more, depending on the region, but ultimately they're going to fall to the wayside as well. Am I going to be happy that the shit's going to happen? Obviously not.
right?
But it is a matter of fact, something that we have to accept, whether we like it or not. That like E3, these other things are going to fall to the wayside. It's either going to be um, company specific directs like Nintendo Directs or Sony Directs or whatever the hell they call them, and Xbox or whatever when it
Mm-hmm.
comes to games, or they work together, which I don't see that ever fucking happening,
Absolutely.
and creating their own thing to showcase all of their titles. And a great point that oh, that Hoovy put out was look at the development times of some of these games. When did Grand Theft Auto 5 come out? Right?
2013.
There you go. It is now 2023. It's been 10 years since Grand Theft Auto 5 came out, and we only now, literally the other day, got a trailer for GTA 6,
Yeah.
which is only going to come out when?
2025 maybe.
Bingo. So, how much time has that been? We're talking about 12 years. If we do a game con or E3 or whatever every year, what does Rockstar going to have to show? We made another character for GTA 6 over a period of 12 years. How much content can they really showcase to keep people hyped for it when it's literally a span of 12 years? If all you do is come by and say, hey, we're still working on it, and then that's it, like what can you do now? Times that by literally every other game company. Now you're going to start to realize, like, damn, like you talk about games needing time to be made. Well, yeah, of course they're going to need time. But back in the day when games were simpler, the hardware was simpler, they were able to crank them out quickly. But now as the hardware gets more advanced, now they need more time to develop, to write code, to test and bug fix and all this other stuff, which will lead into the next problem below. Um, Now you start running into this issue where exactly like Hoovy said, you got game companies that have, a ton of stuff they want to show, but none of the shit's close enough to be finished to be worthy of showing. Oh, that'll be next year. Well, then why the fuck did I show up this year? You know, and that kind of takes away from them and the experience from us. Like, damn, I went to the show to see the latest and greatest, and nobody has anything.
Mm.
So I'm just there for what? To deal with a bunch of sweaty ass people in a confined space? No, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna spend thousands of dollars to travel across the country for something where, more than half of the developers don't have anything to show, or they don't have anything new to show. Like, yeah, okay, it's a different trailer for a game you announced last year. You know, like here's a perfect example. Um, Bethesda. We know Bethesda, Skyrim, Fallout,
Yeah.
and their most recent title, Starfield. I'm playing Starfield now, and first of all, I'm not impressed. But
Mm.
they announced
What?
they announced the sequel to the Elder Scrolls. So the Elder Scrolls 6 was literally just a 5-second panoramic short clip of like a mountainside near an ocean or something, and then it just said the Elder Scrolls 6, and then that was it. No gameplay, no characters, no story, nothing. I don't even think that's a viable environment that's going to be used in the game. That little clip is already, I think, like 5 years old. So imagine 5 years of Bethesda showing up to E3, and all they have is that little 5-second clip for the Elder Scrolls 6.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any idea how many people would be pissed off if they spent money going to E3 and having a company as big as Bethesda say, "Hey, we're still working on it. Let me replay that for you for the 1,000th time." Like that's just how it's going to be. Now, fast forward to now. Now studios are going to be like, okay. Now we get to control what we show when we show it. Like, yeah, we can have a thingy every year, but now we have more time and more resources dedicated to our own projects. Now that we no longer have to go to E3.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like all of those are very good points. To me, it all sounds like that these gaming companies and publishers couldn't take the pressure of trying to at least showcase some type of game and in E3, which is why I had suggested maybe perhaps E3 should have probably happened like every other year instead of every single year. But I don't think that would have really made much of a dent of an interest because you gave the example with Grand Theft Auto, and there's other games out there that just takes too long for them to make. So maybe that strategy probably wouldn't work. It probably would have worked only on like maybe indie games or whatever. Go ahead.
Honestly, I think that if they did something like that and treat it like the Olympics every 4 years, or
I think that
or make it like a simpler number, 5 every 5 years. Then all the
No, that's
companies
too
can
long.
come in with
that's
That's
too
too
long.
long.
a shit ton of content.
Yeah, that
Five
that's
years worth of development time, yeah, they can come up with a lot.
no, but that's too long because a lot. I don't think every single game takes 5 years to make, especially if you're talking about like indie titles. They probably just take a year or two to make. Call of Duty,
Okay.
No, it's not. Honestly, it's not even that. Like to me, the 5 year thing doesn't work because you have consoles where you have to show them something. Like you can't wait 5 years to see something. Like you have to show at least something. Like every year you have to show something that's coming up on the horizon. You
well,
can't tell them, oh, let's wait 5 years before we show them the next thing. And if it's only like one or two games, then I'm not waiting 5 years to show one or two games. Like I'm not doing that.
Yeah, but what if it
Like
wasn't one or two games? What if it was, 5, 6, 7, 8 games, and every year they give you, you know, uh, trailers for each one, and then when the 5 year mark hits, not only do you get like a massive trailer, oh, by the way, demo available.
nah, it still won't work. Cause look at the console cycles. Console cycles are what 8 years, 7 8 years.
True.
Like so we're only gonna have one of these every console generation. Technically, I no, I don't see that working.
Yeah,
Um,
I would probably want it to if they were able to somehow um do some formula format where it's like the frequency like every other year. I think I would much appreciate that much, because at least now the developers and the publishers don't have all that pressure to showcase a particular game, especially if it's not ready. I think every other year will probably work. I mean all that is just just me dreaming, and it's not going to be in reality anyway since E3 is gone. But what I will say, and then you guys could have the last word. But what I will say is, I'm still thankful that all the other events are still there. Gamescom, Tokyo Game Shows, Comic Con, SuperCon. I know they don't really, that's like apples and oranges, but just to prove a point that when Evo and when Combo Breaker and all these other gaming tournaments were only doing things online because of COVID, they went back to go making it a live, social event, and not just be lazy like how they did in E3, where you only could just watch it online. Because I'm telling you right now, when you actually see the crowd, and when I actually went to CEO, bro, let me tell you, it was one of the best times I ever had in my life. And I'm definitely going next year. And I'm gonna try to go to both events, both Evo and CEO. And if I save enough money, I want to go to Combo Breaker also. So I'm just glad that they didn't follow the same route that E3 did, and
well,
they could have.
they have stuff to sell. That's the difference. They have stuff to sell.
Hmm.
Yep.
So.
Stuff to sell.
Well, I mean, I said what I had to say. Like I said, it sucks that it happened, but it was inevitable. Like I just the
Yeah.
ESA just did what we all kind of figured what that had already happened. They just confirmed it. So
Exactly. That's all I did. Just confirm suspicions.
But kudos to them for actually trying to keep it alive. They tried.
Yeah.
Lewis, he tried, and I want to give him a quick shout out that he actually tried to keep it alive, but it just didn't work.
They try, but
all right,
ultimately, I mean, that's all they can do is try and hope for success.
Yeah,
yeah. So, Ruben, what's going on, bro? He said, so disappointed.
yeah, me too.
And then Malta said that my friend Joe got me back into playing video games recently.
Oh snap!
Uh, what
Cool, man.
Switch games do you guys? Which Switch games do you guys play? Currently, I'm not playing anything right now because I don't have online. I don't have the I don't have any subscription service to Nintendo right now. Once I move to the new place, I'll get back on.
Mhm.
What about you, Seafree?
I actually just finished, well, the main part of Super Mario RPG Remake
Oh, okay.
on the Switch. I played it, beat it, loved every second of it. But then again, I played the original when it came out on the Super Nintendo way back in like 1993. Dating myself here. Um, but I loved every second of it. I'm actually in the end game part where they let you refight some of the bosses, but just they're more powered up this time. So I'm gonna start getting ready to take them on again. But yeah, for uh, Malta Master, definitely if you want to play some great Switch games, Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, Super Mario RPG, Metroid Dread, Metroid Prime Remastered. Um,
Oh yeah, yeah.
Jesus Christ! Like the Switch has some great games. Super Mario Wonder literally was there. Um, like there's a lot of great games on the Switch. So there's going to be no end to your opportunities when it comes to the Switch, really. So there's plenty to enjoy. By all means, dive in.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm
Yeah, Ruben said
like
Liza P and what?
I usually would play Smash Brothers, especially with Soul Out. Whenever I have a chance to go over, we'll play some Smash, and a
Mhm.
little bit of odds and ends. That would play like Crash and games like that.
Right.
Uh, so yeah, the Switch has a ton of games to play. I still play the Street Fighter games that's on there,
Yeah.
and bro, the variety of of games that they have to offer you is just phenomenal.
A
Like bro,
lot.
I'm just telling you, man. It's all the exclusive, the third party games that, and some of the third party exclusive that you can only play there, just fantastic. And I'm finally
Absolutely.
am starting to, out of all this time, like I want to give Hades a try again because that game is tough. The game's really
Oh,
tough.
which one?
From Hades.
Oh, all right.
Okay.
All right,
All right. So
move on.
the last gaming topic of the day is one of the craziest ones. Now, Secret, if you want to start on this, you can. I just had the article here from Kotaku.
Sure
Devs
thing.
behind controversial shooter the day before shuts down days after massive stream launch.
Steam launch.
Steam
Steam
launch,
launch.
my bad.
Yeah. Okay. So this game is called The Day Before. Um, it was originally marketed as like a as an MMO shooter type thing. They weren't really all too specific about it, but for what they showed originally, the original trailers, if you can find a copy online, um,
Hmm.
it was supposed to be this big MMO thing. It was supposed to be huge, and it ended up being absolute dog shit. Like I cannot believe someone went out of their way to make something this bad.
Mm-hmm.
It has like over 80% negative reviews on Steam. It got a 1 on IGN. Like this thing is terrible. Like really, really bad.
Did it
And
really?
it's
Did it
it
really
got
get?
a 1.
Wow.
A 1. A single 1. I'm surprised they even got that. Personally, I would have given it a 0, but I don't think their scale goes that low. Um, And what the real controversy behind this is not the fact that it's just a bad game. It was the fact that they marketed it as being this big thing. People bought into it, ended up releasing absolute garbage, and then literally the next day, like the title of this article states, they just up and closed down. Like, okay, we're not a game design studio anymore. But I did read literally today that what actually happened is they didn't close down their studio, they just changed their name. They're now known by a completely different name.
Do you know what the name is?
I'm going to find that for you right now. I'm actually searching for it on my other computer, so I'm not going to be able to pull it up on the screen here, but I'm going
Mhm.
to find the name so you guys can bring it up.
Oh snap!
There,
You using two computers at the same time? I thought you were just having two monitors, but you're using two computers.
I
Awesome.
actually got 3 monitors across 2 PCs.
Okay, using two PCs with three monitors. Man, bro,
Yeah.
some high tech stuff, bro. You were looking
Yeah,
at stocks or something?
if you saw my setup, you'd swear I was into like some weird, crazy stuff.
Yeah, for sure. This dude isn't selling stocks, man. Yeah, that's that's funny how they decided to just change the name like that. They changed their name. They removing trailers. Yeah, obviously, they knew that they were completely in the wrong for releasing a broken game to the public for people to buy, and now they try to run away instead of trying to face accountability and the responsibility to publicly apologize to your audience, to the fan base, to the people who supported your game. And what you decide to do, you decide to run and change your name.
Exactly.
That's
So
just no.
no, it's terrible. So I went ahead and found it. They actually filed a trademark registration name back in August of this year. So fairly recently they did this. I'm guessing in preparation of how bad this game actually was. But the new title of their development team is going to be called Day World. One word, Day World, put together one word. this is like this whole thing. Like Hubi and I were talking about it before the podcast started. That he thinks this entire thing is a scam. Which, as the more you read into it, you're like, damn, did these guys really try to develop a game just so they can cash in on it and run? As it stands now, they are going to, God damn it, what's the word? They are going to honor, that's the word, honor any refund requests for the game.
Oh,
I think
okay.
I think right now they're up to 50% of refunds have been issued. Let me see. The day before refunds.
Okay.
Okay, so it says here that not only are people being offered refunds, but the developer is changing their name. So they're closing down this studio, coming up with a new name, but refunds have been offered, and they will be jumping on that opportunity.
Okay. Let me share this video with you guys. Okay. Now,
Oh,
can
This
you
is
guys see what I'm seeing right now?
okay. This is one of the original trailers, right?
Yeah, yeah. This is the original trailer. Now, I don't
Oh,
know if you can tell by the fidelity, but based on this alone, this looks really good.
yes. Originally, it
This
was
looks really
supposed to be, and
good.
this is what was marketed as what
Hmm.
this game was supposed to look like and play like. Keep that in mind as they show actual gameplay footage of what actually was released.
pause real quick. Movie. Like
Yeah.
if I now I didn't I did hear that there was some hype about the game and that it was supposed to be like a online survival horror type of game. It wasn't it supposed to be somewhat like similar to like Resident Evil or Left 4 Dead or something similar to that or Days Gone.
The co-
Something like
the,
that,
the co-
yeah.
comparisons that I've heard, right,
Hmm.
was it was supposed to be a mixture of The Last of Us, um, was it The Division?
Because to me, right now, like just the looks alone is giving me a lot of Red Dead Redemption vibes. Just the
Yeah.
look,
Oh wow, Red Dead. Okay.
yeah,
And Daisy. Like it
yeah,
was
and
supposed to be
Daisy,
like
yes.
a little bit of a combination of all those games. And the look of it here, it don't look bad. It's not. I wouldn't say it's like revolutionary because I've seen better looking games than this, but it looks definitely looks better than what we have than what we got that what they got.
Oh, by leaps and bounds. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
definitely look better than what they got.
Yeah,
So yeah.
I remember like as you're playing it because I remember that they said it was supposed to be like a survival horror, somewhat of a survival horror game. Like I think there was like some type of disease or outbreak that had happened, and
Mhm.
which why it makes sense. Like you as you can see, like there's no color, like everything is like nearly you know disfigured or
This is what it looks like now.
This is what it actually looks like.
oh my gosh, dude, it's not even close. Oh man.
Night and day difference.
Oh my gosh. The only thing that they kept consistently not even the color, man. Like it's just oh my gosh, it's just
Nothing
awful.
Now,
about it.
now reportedly there was supposed to be hordes of zombies, and I think for most gameplay I've seen the most I've seen is two.
Yeah, like what you're seeing right now. Two zombies as opposed to hordes of them.
Yeah.
And
So that's a downgrade.
well, is that
That's a
or
No,
downgrade.
no, a massive downgrade. But here's the other thing too. Those original trailers that were released that look super cool and all that stuff, they were
Hmm.
actively being deleted by the game studio
Hmm.
like the day of release, so people couldn't match them up. But of course, people still were able to get their hands on the trailers
right?
to show the comparison of how bad this actually is.
Yep.
This is like Super
And
Nintendo graphics, man. I'm not Super Nintendo,
I
PS2 graphics.
like,
PS2 graphics.
it
PS2.
looks bad. Definitely looks bad. Now let me show you this. This I just saw. This is one of the nastiest glitches I've ever seen. Like,
Oh, I
this is
saw. Are you talking about when the thing gets like huge and it covers the screen?
yeah,
Oh my gosh.
yeah,
What the
yeah. I just saw
hell?
this. Like holy crap!
Oh, you
That
didn't
is
see that one?
hilarious.
You didn't see that
I
one?
just
See,
saw this just now. Yeah, yeah.
I saw still images, but to actually see it play out,
yeah, I saw this. Like it
that
just
is
covers the whole screen.
hilarious. Oh my god.
Like what is it? What is that supposed to be?
Yeah,
A
probably
single
NPC.
zombie. And look, he changed back to normal just in time to fall out of the sky or fly down. Apparently, like he had
That's
wings, he
crazy.
glided down.
You got more?
Jesus, that is hilarious.
No,
That's
but
bad.
let me go back to the article.
And this was an actual like released game.
Yeah.
And now, mind you, this is also a game at one point because of the hype. This was the most there was at one point was the most requested game on Steam. Yeah,
Wow.
on Steam. It was I guess it was number one on the wish list. So people are hyped for this game.
Damn, this is
People
giving
are
me
hyped.
cyberpunk vibes. This whole
And
situation.
then here's a couple and Seafood mentioned it and I'm gonna mention it here. I think this was a scam from Jump. Because
Oh,
they had two showcases that they canceled. Two. Not one, but two. Right? And then they have these videos of the guys talking about the game or whatever. And they had this thing called they had like volunteers. Now obviously they had people making the game, but they also had these quote unquote volunteers making having part in the game, right? And apparently they were supposed to be like part of like translation and all the other stuff. I'm not doing nothing for free when it comes to video games, especially with all the money. Now, mind you, early access for this game is $40,
Hmm.
and I don't know when it went up, but it definitely went up. It definitely went up before the game release. So they made their money. They made money.
Oh my
They made
god.
their money, and not only did that happen, right? So the thing happened, and then they mentioned now and then they mentioned that they closed down the studio. It's one thing if you didn't meet expectations. That's one thing. Well, you closed down the entire fucking studio because you couldn't the amount of money you made off the game wasn't enough to continue supporting it. Isn't that supposed? I heard that it was supposed to be. It might have violated the Steam terms of service or something like that.
Yeah.
That you can't release a game on early access and have it be solely dependent on the game survival. Like if you put it in early access, there should be an end goal to where the full game comes out.
Right.
And
yeah.
not only do you have
Totally.
all this stuff going on, you have now they like you said they changed their name, but at one point they filed for bankruptcy. Then these guys are nowhere to be found. Yeah, we like to me it
They're
was a
screwed.
scam. It was a scam.
Yeah, nobody's gonna want to work with these guys at all. No one's gonna trust them, even under the new name or anything. Yeah. They basically shot themselves in the foot. And now I wouldn't be surprised if the entire dev team literally quit or tried to find work elsewhere and specifically left this entire thing off their resume. Like, oh, those
How the
people,
hell
yeah,
do
I
you
never worked
file
for
for
them.
bankruptcy? How do you file for bankruptcy a week, 4 days after the game release? Like that, you don't file for bankruptcy off on a whim.
Yeah, no,
You
that
don't file
is
for.
Jesus. This is oh my god. This whole thing
So
is fucking
I
ridiculous.
there was somebody that was able to compile all the crazy glitches on this video right here,
Let
and
me see. Let me pop it up.
okay, and I remember there were a few people like what's his name like Angry Joe, and they were just showing like glitches after glitches. So this is one right here. Like this is unbelievable. What do you
He's
guys
stuck
see?
inside the wall.
Yeah, he's stuck inside the wall. The guy couldn't move, and this happens as he is stuck inside the wall. He falls down,
Out of bounds.
and I'm watching this, right, and the more that I watch, and the more the stuff that Hoovy was showing us on Twitter,
Yep.
I'm starting to think, hold up, maybe Hoovy's right. This was probably a scam from jump. There's absolutely no way you could expect me to believe that a game that is this bad, that the game that glitches this much, and you want to release it to the public, are you for real? This is worse than what happened with Cyberpunk.
This is worse than Cyberpunk
This
by
is
a lot.
this is far worse than what happened with Cyberpunk. At least with Cyberpunk, you were able to invest in advance in the game. Even with all the glitches that Cyberpunk had, at least you were still able to play it. Like, there were people was getting constant errors. The game would freeze. I just could not believe what I was watching. How in the world, in good faith, can you really release this to the public and have people?
They did.
And not only that, did you guys hear how they ran away with the money that they were able to get? From and not I think they were not able. People no, I think people was asking for a refund, but they kept a lot of the money once they ran away with it. That's why I'm starting to believe that what Having is saying is true.
That it's a scam, the entire thing.
Yeah, I'm starting to think it's a scam the whole entire time.
At this point, with everything that's gone on, yeah, I'm not surprised that I wouldn't be surprised if ultimately it came out maybe tomorrow, a week from now, or whatever, that, oh yeah, the whole thing was a scam, so and so is being prosecuted and whatnot. It wouldn't surprise me if ultimately that's what it came out.
He gets an error, the game automatically pauses, and it's like, and he gets pissed off. Yeah, so oh my god. So and I also want to say this. This is the type of stuff that always worries me when it comes to the gaming industry. And I'm going to tell you this because I think I told you this already, but this was one of the reasons why I actually boycotted last gen. I boycotted last gen. I was not interested in getting the PS4. I was not interested in the Xbox One because I just didn't like the direction where the gaming industry was going. With all the incomplete games, I didn't like the fact that you couldn't pop in and play anymore. I didn't like all the microtransactions. I felt like the industry was just taking advantage of me and my money. And so I decided not to support them until now. And yeah, I missed out on a lot of games, but to me, it seems like we're going back into the same direction all over again as games not being completed. And these developers, these publishers are taking our money and giving us broken games. I don't ever recall of it being this bad. I don't. Now, I'm not saying that we didn't have bad games, over the years, back in the PS1 days, PS2, GameCube days, etc., etc. But if you could, do you remember any game to where you couldn't even play it? I don't ever remember experiencing that with any games back in the day, where you couldn't even finish the game.
Not that I can think of off the top of my head, really.
Dude, this is just unacceptable from this company. Unacceptable. And they should be sued for this.
I'm pretty sure they will be. Like, they're probably going to have some lawsuits on their hands. And they're just going to come after these guys. Because ultimately what was done was the classical bait and switch. We'll show you something great, give you garbage, and by the time you realize we've given you garbage, we ran with the money.
You guys can hear me, right?
We hear you, yeah.
We hear you. What happened?
No, my like I said, my headphones been acting stupid. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, go ahead.
I want.
Oh, go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to point this out from Ruben. Ruben said he couldn't even get his to run.
Doesn't surprise me at all. Like
Wait,
the glitches and the errors and stuff like that. I'm surprised those people were able to get the game to run in any capacity.
Wait, Ruben, you bought the game? Is that what you did? No, you need to answer the question right now, Ruben. You actually bought the game?
His next comment says most wish listed game, which we already touched on that. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he was one of the people that actually got it.
Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness, man. This game.
But again, he was probably one of those people that bought into the hype, as many others already did. thinking that, oh, this is going to be some big thing. Yeah, he says he bought it $40.
Bro, please tell me you got your money back. Please tell me that you got your money back. The fact that you didn't even go to the intro screen. That's why. Oh, okay, yeah, that's right. That's right. I remember you mentioned it to me on WhatsApp. But yeah, dude, I hope you please get your money back.
Yeah, definitely got to get that money back, man. It says refund is processing. That was the next comment he posted. Yeah, I like that. There you go, right there. So hopefully he gets his money back. I mean, I'm not optimistic about it, but fingers crossed.
Yeah.
No, he'll
This
get
is
his
like
money back. He'll get his money back. Man.
this whole situation.
Even with that. No, go ahead, Doug.
Personally, I think like I'm not saying the entire like this should happen to the entire dev crew, but I'm just saying like this company needs to be made an example of. Like they should have everything out there, everything in the public, court case after court case after court case. Like they need to be made an example of. Like you can't come into an industry like this with these lofty goals, come in and say, hey, we're going to make this fantastic game. Here's some trailers and gameplay that look absolutely fantastic. And then when the game comes out, it's absolute dog water. Like, you can't do that. You shouldn't be able to do that. And the fact that they even got to where they are now is a problem.
Mm-hmm. Like I think they'll get sued. I don't think if you're Steam, if you're Valve, you cannot allow these guys to post another game on your platform unless until they've proven otherwise.
No, I think they've already burned that bridge. I think if Steam was smart, they would just turn around and say, hey, whatever name you call yourself now, you guys are banned. You can't release anything on our platform. You've burned that bridge. You had your one chance. You fucked it up. You get nothing. Treat you like the end of Willy Wonka. You get nothing. Good day, sir.
Classic. classic.
Like they got to be made an example of, and this is how you're going to do it. You sue the pants off of them, and you basically bar the entire team from ever being able to post anything.
Well, I wanted to read this, real quick. I don't think they're going to get sued because it says here that everyone is going to be getting their money. Can you see it, Seafring?
I don't see anything on the screen. You're not sharing it right now.
I got you.
Okay, so it says here, and tweet reads, we and Publisher are currently working with Steam to allow refunds for any player who chooses to request one. And they shouldn't even have to request it. Like, you should just do that by default, in my opinion.
It should be mandatory.
Yeah, exactly. That should be mandatory, like, period. Like, you shouldn't have to wait for requests.
Well, that next line right there, it says, fantastic, receive $0 and will receive nothing from the day before sales.
Serves them right. Good. That's music. That's music to my ears. You guys are a bunch of douchebags. Now, let me continue. So, notably, Steam allows users to refund games if they played it for less than 2 hours and it hasn't been more than 14 days since the purchase date. Matona, however, is offering refunds to anyone who purchased the day before.
So no limits.
Yeah, okay. So to all the before players, as the investor of the day before, we would like to provide some update to the current situation around the game. We are sorry for the fact that the game didn't meet expectations.
Expectations.
Okay. Expectations. The game doesn't even work.
That's a joke.
Expectation. The game doesn't even work for the majority of the players. Today, we will work with Steam to open up refunds for any players who choose to make a refund. Okay, again, they shouldn't have to choose. That you should just automatically give them their money back. We are in contact with them regarding for the future of the game. Okay, I think that's the most important. Yeah, there shouldn't be a future for you. There's no future for you. You stole people's money. That's what you did.
Well, here's the thing, like inexplicably, there are still people who like the game. So, are they going
Wait, there's
to
there's
fix the
people
game? That's the
defending the
question.
game. Are you saying there's people
Hmm.
actually defending the game?
Yeah,
I cannot believe that. There's no way.
Those people have
bro.
something
There's
wrong with
always
them.
a sucker. There's always a sucker born every minute. There's always a sucker born every minute. And
Don't we know it?
the thing is, yeah, are they going to fix the game? Are they going to continue? Because they're saying, oh, we have no more funding. We have to pay our partners, this and that. So if they're not going to fix the game, then the game needs to be delisted.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
I don't
no,
know.
you're 100% correct. If they're not going to continue development on the game to get it to a completed, status, it should be delisted. And again, the studio completely banned and their new name completely banned. Like, look, you guys had your chance. You know, look at what you created. This is a huge problem for us too. Um, we're not going to host content for you anymore. Like, you can't release a game like with us anymore. And Steam being the biggest digital marketplace on Earth, yeah, they're pretty much the big dogs. If they tell you no, everyone else is going to be like, well, Epic's not going to do anything. Amazon's not going to do anything. Like, nobody's going to want to touch these guys because of this.
Yeah, so it says here today we announced the closure of the Fantastic Studio. Unfortunately, the day before has failed financially, and we lack the funds to continue. All right, okay. All right, guys, listen. If you lack the funds to continue, why did you release the game in the first place? If so, that means that means, and when you look back into it in hindsight, you knew that the game wasn't finished. Like you knew that already, and you
Look
take you
at
telling us this now?
look at the last line of that same paragraph. It says, "We really wanted to release new patches to reveal the full potential of the game, but unfortunately, we don't have the funding to continue the work." Dude, if you didn't, you couldn't finish the game. It's simple as that. You couldn't
Exactly.
finish. So what's to continue? You couldn't finish the game. So you released an unfinished, buggy, broken game as early access, in hopes that you would make enough money from that to then continue to finish the game. That's not how this works. When people give you money to work on a game, like when investors give you money to work on a game, it's going to be enough money. It better be enough money to get the game to a completed point. After that, any profits made can then be used for future patches, additions, DLC, whatever. But the initial investment has to go toward a completed title. They could not hold up to that with this monstrosity that they created.
Yeah. This is just a travesty, and I'll just read this last thing, and we have to move on. It's important to note that we didn't take any money from the public during the development of the day before. There were no pre-orders, no crowdfunding campaigns. We worked tirelessly for 5 years, pouring our blood, sweat, and tears into into the game.
That's a joke.
Okay. At the moment, the future of the day before and prompt night is unknown, but the servers will remain operational. We apologize if we didn't meet your expectations. Get the hell out of here, man. All right, I'm done. I'm not reading anymore. If you guys want to continue reading, look, if you guys want to continue reading, you could continue reading. I'm not reading anymore. Like this is a bunch of crap. All right.
It is.
This is a bunch of garbage. Oh, we're so sorry that we didn't meet expectations. The game was freaking garbage. The game was unplayable. The game was unplayable. You guys knew exactly what you were doing, releasing this dog water to the public, and
They knew
actually
exactly.
allowed the transition to happen from making people to allow people to purchase the game that you know that doesn't even work. No,
Yeah,
no,
this was.
I'm done. I'm done reading. If you want to read, go ahead. But I'm done reading. I'm done reading.
Yeah, no. This entire situation, it's been mulled over by plenty of people. We just did it. It is an absolute travesty that this was even allowed to happen, and hopefully going forward, we don't see anything like it ever again.
Unbelievable
All
stuff,
right,
man.
so Joe says stop shaming him, you asshat. So he's talking to you, Steve.
Nah, I wasn't shaming. I
And
was
then
just
Ruben said that.
hold on, hold on,
He
hold
was
on.
concerned.
Yeah, I was mainly doing it in a way of concerning and just worrying about his pockets, not shaming him. Like, make sure you understand the difference between the two. Like, this dude always in ready in attack mode.
I don't know. I it sounds like shaming to me. But I mean, if you had volunteers to work, then you never had the funding in the first place. I think they had the
Thing,
funding. I think the problem is that they tried to pocket that money. That's what they did.
probably.
They tried to
Wait,
pocket the money. Yeah, they tried to
go ahead.
pocket the money. Then they're like, oh well, we don't have the money to continue funding the game, and then they would have run away scot free. That's
Pretty
what
much.
I think they're. I think that's what they tried to do, but it didn't work.
It did not.
So no.
Ridiculous.
So yeah.
Yeah,
So
so
on
I
that
mean, like,
note,
so at the end of the day, man, I think it's very sad that we still are dealing with games, broken games, games that are too buggy, and people are paying for it. Thank God I didn't. Listen, all this does for me is have me worried about the gaming industry, as a whole. But I'm not saying that every single publisher and developers are doing this intention. I know there are a lot of bad apples out there. We just have to be more, I guess, cognizant. Got to be more or discerning. I don't know what word to use, but we just got to be careful out there of what we are going to be investing in when it comes to these games, because like stuff like this, should not be happening at all.
No,
You know
it
what I'm saying?
shouldn't.
Like, it's first off, it's bad enough that we have these stupid day one updates. We have we have to fix these patches. To me, the traditional way of doing it is wait till the game is completely finished and then you release it. Not have these day one patches and give you all these constant updates because you knew the game was 100% done. Now, when it comes to, like, for example, when it comes to like fighting games, when there's like balance issues, I could live with that. You know what I'm saying? Because at least the game is still playable. You can still have a great experience, with the game or whatnot. If
speaking of fighting game, want to announce Tekken 8 demo is releasing on December 14th. So
yeah,
I will be downloading that.
yeah, yeah, me too. And the last thing I want to say, like, it's one thing if you have to patch if a weapon is too strong, if a character is too strong. I could live with that. But when you're constantly dealing with bug issues, glitch issues, or if the game is just unplayable or whatnot, like that should never ever happen under any circumstance, especially once you release it to the public for people to buy. It should never happen. What happened with this is just unexcusable. I didn't think it could get any worse. What happened with Cyberpunk? I didn't think it could get any worse than that. But here we see it actually got worse. And dude, I just don't know have anything positive to say about this company.
There's nothing.
If they're able to bounce back, then kudos to them. I do believe I believe in second chances, but bro, they're gonna have a lot of making up to do. They need to apologize to the public immediately. That's what they need to do.
This company basically looked at what happened with Cyberpunk and said, "Hold my beer."
Exactly.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
All right. Well, on that note, we're gonna
Ugh.
head to the sports part of the podcast. So, Dark, if you have to go, thank you for
Yeah,
joining us. You plug whatever you got to plug.
of course. No, the usual. I'm not a sports guy, so this is where I'm out. But by all means, you can go ahead and jump on my Facebook and YouTube channel, the Black Hood Crew, just like right here underneath my name, and literally every other social. You can look me up under my name, BHC Cross Stark. Find me there. I will be posting more stuff. If you find me on TikTok, which I'm there a lot, I post there more often than anywhere else.
Oh, if you and just in case, if you maybe you could just go to your phone and go to our live chat on your phone or on your computer, and you could put all your stuff there if you want on the chat. I mean,
It's a
that's up
lot.
I
to
don't.
you. Go ahead,
I
Julio.
don't. I don't know if we can. I don't know if they allow it when it comes to like chat and stuff like that. 'Cause I tried it before. It doesn't work.
Or it doesn't
That's
work.
perfectly fine. That's perfectly fine. If anything, again, it's Black Hood Crew on YouTube and Facebook. Here we go. The Black Hood Crew on YouTube and Facebook. My name directly, literally everywhere else.
Cool.
All right. So
Good.
you guys have
Man,
a good night, and hopefully to the next one.
yeah.
All
But
right,
it
man.
was awesome having you here, man. We got to do more often.
For sure, for sure. All right. You guys
All
have a
right,
good one.
All
good
right,
one,
man.
man.
Have a good night, man.
Later.
hmm Okay, so now we are headed to the sports part of the conversation,
Mm-hmm.
and I really, if I have to start, let me start, and that's when I get the fuck off. All right, Joe. Have a good night, Joe.
Yeah, we knew you weren't into sports. You were a fake fanboy, fake sports fanboy. All right, let's
Now, now we obviously we normally do the podcast on Monday. I decided, you know what? Let me watch the Dolphins game, and let's enjoy them winning against the Titans, and that obviously didn't happen because, in my opinion, our coaching staff got outcoached severely by Mike Vrabel. Vrabel. Um, and here's the thing. I don't want to overreact because these things do happen.
okay.
But here's me overreacting. Right? You don't lose a 14-point lead with 4 minutes left to go. They literally handed you the game. A game you did not deserve to win. They literally handed you the game, and yet you let a rookie quarterback and one wide receiver, it wasn't nobody else, it was one wide receiver, carve you up and down the field.
You talking about Hopkins?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then like once our offensive line got cooked, right? Everyone looks to Tyreek when he got hurt, everything wasn't the same, and that's true. But it was when our center got hurt, towards the ACL, he's out for the year. That's when everything went to shit. Right? Then, and speaking of Tyreek Hill, the only time our offense did anything was when he was on the field, right? And that's it. That's an indictment on Tua, and frankly, that's an indictment on all the other wide receivers on the field, including Jalen Waddle.
Wow, including him?
Yeah, including him.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Because here's the thing: when the year before Tyreek Hill got there, he had 100 catches, and he had over 1,000 yards. He had more catches than any rookie in the history of the game when it came to catches their first year.
Yeah.
When Tyreek Hill is out, I expect you to step the fuck up. I expect you to step up, and he didn't do that. And the other wide receiver didn't do shit. Javon Achan, he was garbage yesterday. He was absolutely garbage yesterday. The only offensive player who did anything outside of Tyreek Hill, and he almost like got his ankle broken. The only other offensive player who did anything worth a damn was Raheem Mostert.
Yeah, that dude's fast, man. That dude's real fast.
Yeah, and the defense, and I'm trying to figure out what the fuck is what's that dude's name? Fangio doing. You have not only do you have um Howard, you also have Jalen Ramsey. Why isn't that no one is covering the Hopkins? He's the only fucking guy they have. He's the only guy they have. Derrick Henry is washed, and they have no other wide receivers.
I mean, you said that he's washed, but I think that dude had like what
He's
two
washed.
touchdowns. He had like two
He's
touchdowns.
washed, bro. That dude's washed, bro. He's done.
Wow.
And you
Okay.
let that you not only it's one thing to have that team outplay you, right? But when you're up 13, you should have shut that shit down, but yet you let them come back and win. It was a garbage performance all the way around.
Mm. Bro. Okay.
And hold on, let me say this. Now we have another game in 6 days against a team that has a better defense and a quarterback who finally did something worth a damn. Yeah, I'm worried about the game, especially if the injuries are gonna start becoming a problem. Yeah, I'm worried. I'm worried because the one thing I could have said is that we don't lose to bad teams. I can't say that anymore. I can't say that anymore.
Mhm.
So if Hill's not gonna play, the rest of those guys need to step the fuck up, and that includes Tua. All those guys need to step the fuck up.
Hmm.
So
Are you done?
yeah, I'm done. I'm done.
Okay. Yeah. So let me say this. I mean it's a like a bitter sweet for me because the Green Bay lost, but we'll get to them in a second. Well, I want to say this, right. You're gonna get a little, I guess, irritated when I say this, but I want to say it. It's I kind of got this from from Rod Parker, but I kind of want to steal what he said. I want to say it on this podcast. When you guys don't have Tyreek, you have no offense. No Tyreek means no offense. I'll say that one more time. No Tyreek means no offense. Now here's the thing, right? I have constantly had said to you for the past 2, 3, 4 podcasts now that we've been doing that the MVP for that team has been Tyreek Hill. I've been consistent with that. I've been consistent with that. Granted, you're right that without a quarterback, who's going to give him the ball? But you could clearly see that as soon as he was no longer on the field, you no longer saw, the two deep safeties. You no longer saw, people going crazy or overreacting when he's in motion and whatnot. You didn't see none of that because he was not in the field. You didn't see none of that. What you saw was that now that when he was off the field, the pass rush went crazy. I think they had like 3, 4 sacks, on Tua or one or five. Okay, they had 5 sacks. Tua was sacked 5 times,
And that's because of the O line. That's because of the O line. When 3/5 of your O line is backups, yeah, it's not going to work.
but I
It's
thought
not
the
going to
sacks.
work.
If I remember, then the sack started to happen when Tyreek got hurt though. Because I know he had slipped at one time, but I'm not really gonna count that. He slipped, I think, in the first quarter, I believe, and
Yeah,
then
this is a bunch of stupid shit that they did.
yeah,
Stupid shit. Like
yeah, he slipped and fall, and that was whatever. But I thought that the pass rush started adding a lot of pressure onto it once Tyreek got hurt. That's what I noticed. I could be wrong because I was flipping back and forth to the Green Bay Packers game, but I thought that they were really starting to get at Tua once Tyreek got hurt because now you could blitz. Obviously, you could blitz more. The safety doesn't have to be as deep anymore. So I thought the whole game plan had changed once she got hurt.
just for it was part of it.
Okay, all right, all right. So I'm right. So and now I want to address this real quick. Let me share it real quick, and I want to ask you your opinion about this. Where are you? Okay, here you are. Okay. Um. Okay. Have you know? We had this discussion just last week or 2 weeks ago about the whole thing that happened at FSU. Okay. Now that you saw this happen to your guy, how do you feel about the tackle now? Do you think it
Uh,
should be banned officially?
I don't even care about the tackle. Like the guy's job is to bring him down. Like I don't give a shit about that.
You don't
One,
think
it's a stupid. First of all, it's a stupid. I hate fucking wide receiver screens. I fucking hate that. I hate that play.
you hate these plays? Okay.
I hate it. Oh, you're just leaving the wide receiver there to get tackled. Every time they run that stupid play, there's always something bad happens.
Okay.
But yet,
Okay.
McDaniel, that's one of his favorite plays. It's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
And does it surprise me that he got hurt? No, it doesn't surprise me he got hurt.
Hmm.
What's the guy supposed to do? He's supposed to let him go run around free? No, he's gonna tackle him.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, okay. So we got that out of the way. Um. So like I said, I think what we saw yesterday, solidifies that Tyreek to me is the MVP. I think he's more valuable, than Tua, and like I said, when you no longer need two safeties deep anymore, when you no longer have to do double teams anymore, you know what I'm saying? Which leaves the Dolphins, offensive line, to me, like they got exposed. Well, actually, I shouldn't say exposed because you did say some of the offensive linemen got hurt, and poor guy who tore his ACL. Um, I mean, it's sad, but listen, at the end of the day, Hoovy, I mean, everybody has been saying this, since since what, like the past, 3, 4 weeks, that they honestly believe that the person who actually run the offense, was Tyreek, and people never considered, Tua as the MVP candidate, and to me, it pretty much showed that without Tyreek, I mean, he's like, what else is he going to do? The guy is afraid. The guy looks like he's always timid and always reluctant to, to run with the ball. I think he's afraid to get hurt. I think that's what it is, in my opinion. He's afraid, to run with the ball. I think he ran for like, I think like what, 8 yards, I believe. I can't remember, but I think he ran for like 8 yards, I think. And in my opinion, like he needs to do a better job when his first option is not there. He needs to do a better job of either, just take off, or just get rid of the football if you're just going to hold on to it.
He's not a scrambler. He's not a runner.
Well, that's the
He's not a
problem.
runner. Well, it is what it is. Like I don't like. I'm just thinking about all the plays and it pisses me off even more and more. Look, at the end of the day, don't lose to the fucking Jets. That's all I'm gonna say. Don't lose to the Jets.
Hmm.
Okay, if you think people are losing faith right now, wait to see what happens if they lose to the Jets.
I mean,
So
I mean, I mean, you could say that, but I think that I think the Dolphins is more of a the Dolphins seems to be more. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they're more of a finesse team. I think they rely on, speed and deception than, like instead of just
that's
running.
their bread and butter, but they can run the ball. Like Mostert played well. He's the only offensive player who played well. They can run the ball. The problem is we know their bread and butter is their speed. And the thing is that yes, like Tyreek Hill is like I said that he's our best offensive player. I said that. He's probably our best player. Right? And the whole MVP thing is not about who's the best player, who's the most valuable. The problem is that when he's gone, no one else, no other wide receiver stepped up. And that includes Jalen Waddle. No one stepped up. And those guys, and including the coaches, they need to step the fuck up because I'm not interested in seeing this team lose to the Jets. I'm not. It's bad enough we have after that we have Dallas, Baltimore, and Buffalo. And I do not need Buffalo coming back and winning this division. I don't need that in my life.
Um, do I see Buffalo winning the division? I mean, look, they have a tough schedule too. Like you guys aren't the only ones, with a tough schedule, but Buffalo still has a tough schedule also. I mean, I don't really see that happening. I think you guys will be. I think ultimately you guys will be fine. The only problem is that I have is I don't know if you guys are going to be good enough to to win back-to-back games against Baltimore and Buffalo? Because I think you guys faced Buffalo on the last game, right?
Yeah.
And that is before. That's after Baltimore.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah,
And then
that
before that is Dallas.
you guys could lose 3 in a row.
And we can lose 4 in a row. The way that we play, we can lose 4 in a row. And I'm not interested in having that. I'm not interested.
Yeah, you guys don't have an offense without Tyreek, and I'm not saying this as an insult. Like just look at the numbers, right? In the first quarter, the only reason why you guys had that touchdown, well, I think that touchdown in the first quarter was that pick six that you guys got after you turned the ball over, right? The second
Yeah.
touchdown you guys had was because of that missed punt or that muff punt that the dude I forgot the one who he was unable to catch the punt, and you guys were able to score after that, and then they fumbled again. So I don't recall all game. Well, again, I was watching the Green Bay Packers game, but I don't recall all game you guys actually went down the field to score a touchdown. You guys didn't do that.
No. That's why we didn't deserve to win. That's why we didn't deserve to win, and they gave it to us on a silver platter, and we fucked it away.
And look, I enjoyed the game. I thought you guys was going to win once you guys were up 14 with like what 4 minutes to go. I said okay, yeah, Miami is going to win this game. But then I see them. I flip back the channel, and I see that you were only up by a touchdown, and it's not even a touchdown. You guys were only up by 6. I'm like, hold up, they scored a 2-point conversion because again, I was watching the Green Bay Packers game, and I'm like, whoa, they scored a 2-point conversion, and they go down the field, they score
with ease, with no resistance whatsoever.
Yeah, with no resistance. And what made everything worse, for me. Well, I should say for you because I mean I don't care. Well, to me, what made it worse was that when Tua had that last play, well, the play before, I forgot who that guy was, but he was so indecisive before.
Devon Achane.
He was so indecisive. I was like, wait, are you going? He cuts. He does a cut move, but then he changes his mind and tries to go out of bounds. You should have done that before.
Dude has been excellent this year, but he was garbage yesterday. Absolute garbage yesterday.
Bro, I was like, what in the world is this dude doing? So then I see one official. He stops the clock. The other official comes by. He swings his arm around, whatever. So the clock starts moving again, and the ball they hike the ball. Tua slips, got sacked, game over. I mean, dude, I don't understand why you guys having such problems hiking the ball. People falling and slipping around. Like, dude, I don't know what in the world is going on, but yeah, you have a lot of stuff to address before you start facing these juggernauts like Dallas, Buffalo, and Baltimore. Like that's going to be a gruesome battle in the last 3 weeks for you guys. I think I think it's going to be crazy. But for you to say that Buffalo probably might go back and win the division, I don't see that happening. They're going to
not happen. It better not happen.
Yeah, I don't think so. But yeah, but shout out to Hopkins. That dude ran over all you guys. That dude had 124 yards. And Will Levis, I think his last, how do you pronounce his last name? Levis or Levi's? I don't know. Like shout out to him. Shout out to him. Like that dude did a very good job. He kept his poise despite the fact that he threw an interception, and he went down the field with his team. They won, and look, like they did a fair good job on defense and on offense. Despite the fact they had all those turnovers, they were still able to win the game. So, look, big shout out to them. And yeah, if I were you, I would definitely be worried about the Dolphins because now you're no longer in the top seed. Baltimore is, and you have a chance to actually go even lower if Buffalo continues to win, and if Kansas City continues, well, if Kansas City wins their next couple of games, I would say you guys are in trouble. But I don't know. I
We'll
can't.
talk about them. We'll talk about them in a second. Is there anything else you wanted to bring up before we talk about Mahomes?
Yeah. Before we talk about Mahomes, like, uh, all right. I was watching the Green Bay Packers game, and to me, it felt like as if the Green Bay Packers I felt like they could have won, but it felt like they were just being lazy to me. Like I don't know, like they were being lazy and made stupid decisions. I even said it. I even said it on Twitter. Let me see if I still have it on Twitter. Let me see. I said on Twitter. I don't know why you guys tried to go for 2 points. You went for 2 points. I don't know why. And all they needed now was a field goal, and then you guys lose the game. You guys lose the game. Like why? 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 So now instead of being all happy of them, winning a few games, they were on a little winning streak. Now they're on the back end again, and they have the potential chance of missing the playoffs. When I thought that they were on the hunt to be at least in the wild card spot. But now, and I don't see that happening. When you make stupid mistakes like that, I don't see that happening. So hopefully, um, they play. Let me see. They play the Bears their last game. I'm trying to remember who was they're playing. The next few games that they have left. But I'm worried about the Green Bay Packers now. I'm worried because if they can't make smart decisions, to win a easy game, I think this game should have been easy for them. But I mean, it kind of frustrated me. But like I said, I couldn't focus on one game. I was constantly flipping back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So it is what it is. So what were you trying to say about Mahomes?
No. Before we get to Mahomes, shout out to the Bears. They beat the Lions, and I wanted to address this from Ruben. He said that hard to blame the receiver when the line doesn't let it lead to his hands. Tua had time. Tua had time. The problem is that the receiver didn't get open. Now he was rushed. Like their D line did very well, but he had time. The receiver just needed to get open. Like the Devon Achan play where he had the guy beat on a deep ball, but he couldn't make the catch. That's the catch that he needs to make. He needs to make that catch. I don't know what the fuck slowed him down, but he needs to make that catch. And there are multiple times when Tua is trying to like dump the ball off, and like you need to be in the right position to get to receive the ball. But yeah, he's always like, oh, he's going to the right, wrong route, this and that, and like it's garbage, man. Like he was garbage yesterday, and Tua wasn't nothing special either. So
So
you know, it is what
with all that being said, is he still an MVP candidate?
the numbers speak for themselves. You may not like to admit it, but the numbers speak for themselves. Right?
So
Like,
is that a yes?
yeah, the answer is yes.
Okay. All
The
right.
answer is yes. Like, a quarterback having a bad game is like it can happen. Just look at Mahomes. Like all you why okay, you want to get to the Mahomes thing now, or you want to bring other stuff up before we get to him?
I'm trying to remember if there was any other one I wanted to talk about. There was something I wanted to say about Purdy, but now I can't remember. So I guess we can move on.
All right. So what? Okay. At the end of the game with them in Buffalo, right? We know why he was upset. Like we're not gonna beat around the fucking bush here. He's not at the receivers because the dude's offside. Dude's offside. What are you bitching about? The dude's offside.
Yeah,
Dude could have lined up. Dude could have
right here.
lined up for Buffalo. Dude could have lined up for Buffalo. Like, come on. I share for a little bit, but then that's it. But yeah, dude could have lined up on Buffalo side. He was that offside. What
Yeah,
do you?
so
What do you? What, yeah, go ahead.
so he's like there was another clip I wanted to show where he was like really like going off with the ref, So as you can see, he's all pissed off. He's getting all upset. And then as I'm watching this clip, right? I'm watching this clip, and I said to myself, okay, what was Tony going offside? Was it really that egregious? I go back and I look, and this is what I see. And let me put this. Let me see if I can zoom this up a little bit more. This is what I see. Like, look, this was an amazing shot. I'm really happy that I think this was from ESPN highlighted. Look where he's at. He's practically lining up on the other side of the ball. How look. Listen. I could understand Mahomes' point about, well, stuff like this, happens all the time. The referee, why is he calling it, from this point? But if it's that egregious, I cannot blame the referee for calling it an offside on Tony. I can't. Like, not if it's this bad. If it's like close or borderline, I could understand. But if it's like this, no. You can't get away. You can't get away with that. And the reason why this was so unfortunate, like, as much as I do, when okay, I don't have it here. Oh, hold on. Let me see if I can share it. Let me hang on a second.
Don't show the play. Don't show the play.
No, it's different. It's different. Where is it? Yeah, go ahead. I'm gonna look for it.
No, I mean, okay. I'll just say he's mad. Here, the reason why Mahomes is mad is because he plays. He's mad because he plays with a bunch of bums at the skill position guys. Outside of Kelsey, they have bums on the field. That's just how it is.
Yeah.
Flag down at the line of scrimmage as the pass is to
All right,
open Travis
I told you
Kelce,
not to play.
who flings it back.
Right.
Did I
Okay.
tell you not to play the?
What happened?
Go ahead.
Over to Tony. My goodness, this is going for a touchdown.
Okay. When I saw that play, dude, look, and they're not even my team. When I saw Kelsey threw that ball back, dude, I jumped in the air because I was in such disbelief of what I saw. I couldn't believe what I saw. That was just a phenomenal play, and you decided to ruin that because, what you were too blind? Like, you didn't see where the ball was? With that shot that I put on Twitter, he's looking right where the ball is at. You mean to tell me that you could not tell that you lined up incorrectly? To me, like I said on the Discord, I've said it on Twitter, and I'm going to say it on here. Yes, you guys won a Super Bowl without Tyreek Hill. Yes, you guys did. And kudos for that. But clearly, they do not have a number one receiver in their team. And clearly, they missed Tyreek Hill. If I'm Patrick Mahomes, I'm going off on the staff for not keeping Tyreek Hill. And I'm going off on the staff because they had a chance to get Hopkins. Mind you, the Cardinals released him. They released him. They had their chance to get Hopkins, and they didn't do that. If I'm Mahomes, I'm going off on the whole entire staff. I'm on the whole entire staff for not giving me a wide receiver, a number one wide receiver. Like I said, they are treating Patrick Mahomes the exact same way New England treated Tom Brady, not giving him a number one receiver. And they're doing the exact same thing to Patrick, and they're taking advantage, and they're taking him for granted. And that's not right. And this whole notion that I heard about him, taking less money, this is the reason why, at least one of the reasons why, listen, this whole sacrificing, your payday because you want your team, to get, to keep your guys and whatnot. Well, clearly that didn't work. You sacrifice money for what? You sacrifice money for what? To get a whole bunch of bums who can't align themselves right? For bums who can't even catch the ball? Go off on your team. Go off on your receivers. Don't go off on the refs. Don't go off on the refs, especially that the fact that they did their job. They made the right call. Again, if it was close, I could understand it. But the fact that he was practically a whole foot off the ball, no, you have to make that call. Even though they didn't get any advantage, like these people are crying about, these fans are crying about, oh, it wouldn't make a difference in the play. That's not the point. That's not the point. He did that was a foul. They called it, and look, at the end of the day, it's his fault, and Patrick Mahomes needs to go off on his receivers.
He
Tom
he's
Brady,
doing
Tom
he's
Brady
doing yeah. No,
did
go ahead.
Tom Brady did the exact same thing. He would scream and go off on his receivers because they're not doing their job. Patrick Mahomes needs to do the exact same thing. Okay, go ahead, go ahead.
Look, he cried like a little baby to save Tony. That's all he did that for. He took all the attention for himself. And that's what a good teammate does. But like you just come off as a jackass, to be honest with you. Even though I get why he did it, he comes off as a jackass because bro, like he was offside by a lot.
By a lot. That's the
And
problem.
and I know why you're upset. We all know why you're upset. You're upset because you have a bunch of bums playing wide receiver. That's it. The only guy you can trust is Travis Kelsey. That's it.
That's sad, man.
That's why he was upset. That's why that because you don't get upset over something like I get it. It's a huge play. I get it. But when you look at the replay, he's clearly offside. Like I said, he could have lined up for Buffalo, and he probably would have been he would have been better off. You know what I'm saying? Like, but that's why he got upset. But what it shows, going back to the whole Tua Tyreek thing, yeah, you need guys who can make plays. You need players, and if Kansas City can only go as far as their defense takes them, and as far as Kelsey and Mahomes can take them, even the best quarterback in the league can't do it without help. Guys need help. Guys need help. That's why those guys need to step up. Like that's why our guys need to step up. Like it is what it is, man.
Yeah,
I don't want to
look,
talk about football no more. I'm good.
and in all honesty, we could understand that even if the fact that they don't have good legitimate wide receivers, the fact that they even made it this far is very impressive, and that's because of the greatness of Patrick Mahomes. But even but even
And their great defense.
yeah, but even he has their limits. Even he has his limits. Like he won't be able to sustain this throughout the whole entire season without having at least one number one in his offense. Like you can't look. I understand that he's the best. He's great. He's really good at extending plays and scrambling and doing all these orthodox type of throws and whatnot. That awesome, cool. He could run, cool. I'm glad. Yes, fine. But at the end of the day, if you do not have a wide receiver like a Tyreek or Hopkins, for example, then like I mean, the guy is pretty much a sitting duck when nobody could get open. If all you have is just Kelsey and that's it. And look, I'm not saying that Kelsey is bad. Like Kelsey is great, but look, the guy is 35 years old. Like he's getting old. He's not going to get better. He's just going to get older. And you have to eventually going to have to rely on a number one receiver, especially when it comes to next year and the following year. But if you're not going to give him anybody, he's not going to be able to play at an elite level. And even if he does, he still can't take them very far with no receivers. I'm sorry, he can't.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, he can't.
Yeah.
And I want to give I wanted to give Brock one last hurrah. The guy played great again, and I'm going to say yes. You need to apologize, but I know you're not going to. And I'm also going to say yes, he is better than two. And mind you, having do you realize that he also lead the league in completion? Did you know that?
It's easy to do that when you have Debo Samuel Christian McCaffrey. Am I right or wrong?
Here we go.
You're going up and down talking about guys needing skill players to step up, right? What is Purdy surrounded by? He ain't surrounded by bums because when he wasn't very good.
Want me to continue, or are you finished?
I'm done.
Okay. Yeah. And just so you know, I think I don't know if he's leading in passer rating, but he's up there. He's almost in pretty much in top 3 and nearly in every category.
Yeah, I
And
think Tua is too.
but I think he's higher than Tua though.
Right, but Tua's up there also.
He's higher and better.
Yeah, he don't fuck Steve. I'm not look, Steve. I'm the whole Dolphin situation pissed me off, right? So I'm not getting an argument with you, right?
You already argued.
No, I'm not getting an argument with you, right?
You already
Like,
argued.
I'm not getting an argument with you. At the end of the day, we know who we know who he is. We know who he is. Right? We know who he is. He's a guy who as of right now is blessed to have great players surrounding him.
Look, the guy, I think he's an MVP candidate. I still will give him to Crafty first.
No, he is an MVP candidate, absolutely.
No, I'm just saying if I were to choose, I would pick McCaffrey first. That's
the guy. Okay, but to me, the real MVP, in my opinion, is Dak Prescott. To me, he's the front runner right now.
Didn't we call him and the Dallas Cowboys frauds just a couple of weeks ago?
I mean, they beat Philadelphia.
Oh, okay. I think you said San
They
Francisco.
beat Philadelphia.
Yeah, okay. One team. That's fine.
Anyway, let's move on.
Like I said, he's third. He's third in passing yards, and I want to say this.
Who's in front of him?
I think Tua is. I think Tua is in front of him. I believe. Yeah, and what I was gonna say is that he was a major upgrade over Jimmy G, right? He's obviously more accurate. He's obviously he stays in the pocket obviously a lot better. He's better at extending plays. But look, the guy is the whole package. Now, he may not be a runner like a Mahomes or like a Lamar, but clearly the guy is constantly proving that when you have weapons, he could be very dangerous. The guy's very dangerous. He's lethal, and which is why I said to you that the more that the season wanes and the more that the season continues, looks bad on you because you never wanted to talk about the guy earlier on. That's why you need to apologize to the guy.
I don't give a shit about San Francisco.
But no. It wasn't about San Francisco. We were just talking about Brock Purdy only. We wasn't talking about San Francisco.
I don't give a shit about Brock Purdy. I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
You as a Green Bay Packers fan, why are you so quick to give him so much praise?
You are just upset, one, that he beat you guys, and two, you're upset that he's getting more recognition than Tua. I think that's what
I don't care about none of that. I know who he is. Only what look, here's the thing. There's a difference between me and you. One of us thought Jeremy Lin was a good player. The other one was correct. Who was correct?
Why are we talking about basketball?
No. First of all, it's our next topic. But you have this tendency of always trying to crown guys. Oh, this guy is great. This guy is great. Without just like that, without looking at the totality of what's around him and what's going on. Like I said, one of us thought Jeremy Lin was great. The other one was correct. And who was correct?
He was look, I don't know why we're talking about Jeremy Lin, but he was very good under Mike D'Antoni's system. The problem
Anybody can be good under Mike D'Antoni's system.
the problem was well, no, that's not true. Like I mean, the Kobe Bryant wasn't all that great when Mike D'Antoni started coaching him. But anyway,
What?
that's besides the point. When I
No,
when
no, 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 no. Wait, no, 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 no. You just said something blasphemous.
okay,
First of all, Kobe Bryant's a shooting guard. Let's get that out the way. Two, Kobe Bryant's one of the greatest players of all time.
they didn't have
He don't need Mike D'Antoni. He don't need Mike D'Antoni.
they didn't have a legit point guard. Just so you know.
He don't need Mike D'Antoni.
Just so you know.
He don't need Mike D'Antoni. Okay? He don't need Mike D'Antoni.
I didn't say that, but you said that.
You said that Kobe Bryant wasn't that good under Mike D'Antoni. He don't need Mike D'Antoni.
Okay.
He don't need him. Okay, don't act like Mike D'Antoni some messiah of basketball, whatever. Because he's not that either.
Did Steve Nash get better under Mike D'Antoni, or was he better when he was in Dallas?
He was better under Mike D'Antoni.
Oh, was James Harden better in OKC, or was he better with Oh no, hold on. Was he coaching Mike D'Antoni? Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was. Or was he better when he was? Or was he better when he was with Mike D'Antoni?
Yes.
Okay, so what are we talking about here?
Don't ever bring up Kobe Bryant and Mike D'Antoni in the same sentence.
Okay, but what are we talking about here? You're saying, oh well, I mean, I've just proven to you two guys got better. Their careers got better under Mike D'Antoni.
And it proves my point because that's the only reason why Damian Lillard had any type of success in New York.
No, the reason why he no longer got better was because one, he got hurt, and two, when Carmelo Anthony came back, it compromised his game. He could no longer have the ball because Carmelo Anthony wanted the ball. Remember that? No, of course you don't remember that. You forgot about that, didn't you?
I mean, when New York was in their best, who was leading them?
That was before Jeremy Lin got there, though.
Okay, when Jeremy Lin got there, they didn't do anything. At the end of the day, they had a good, nice stretch of a month of games where he did well, and then once the league figured him out, he was who I always said he was. He's a role player. And going all the way back to Brock Purdy is a good quarterback. He is. Is he better? Because if you're going to sit there and say that he's better than Tua, you might as well say he's better than Mahomes. So I guarantee you his numbers are better than Mahomes. No.
Don't compare Tua and Mahomes. Do not compare. You talking about me and Kobe Bryant. What you just said was blasphemous too. What you just said was
I'm not saying Tua and Mahomes are on the same level. What I'm saying is that you're using numbers to say this guy is great. You're using numbers to say this guy why he's great. And if his numbers are better than Mahomes, because we all know why Mahomes numbers are a little bit down because he has no receivers, you might as well say he has because Tua's numbers are better than Mahomes, but you're not going to say he's better than Tua. You're not going to say he's better than Mahomes. You'll never say that.
No, neither will you.
Right? Tua's numbers are better than Purdy's, but yet you're sitting there telling me that he's better than Tua.
Yeah, he's definitely better than Tua. Yes, he is. Absolutely. Okay. You just don't like the fact that I said it. You just don't like the fact that I said it, and you don't like the fact that he beat you guys.
I don't care. I don't care about that. Here's the thing. The reason why I don't care about none of this. The only reason why I said what I said is because you are the type of guy who fall for hype. That's what you are. You fall for the hype. And when it comes back to bite you in the butt, then you don't try to acknowledge it.
That's what you're doing. You just said that press conference MVP. He's league an MVP.
He's an MVP. He's an MVP candidate. He absolutely is.
Hype.
Huh?
You hyping the guy.
It's not hype. They're not hype. He's been good for a long time. He's not a bad quarterback. He's not.
Did you forget the stuff that you were saying about him before?
What did I say about him before?
You didn't say that he was great or good or anything like that. That's for sure.
I never said he was bad. I
Okay,
never said he was a bad quarterback.
I didn't say he was bad, but I didn't also say he was good either. But all right, have enough. Okay,
I never said he was bad. I don't remember.
yeah, you didn't.
I don't remember saying he was anything bad. But you look at the numbers; he's been playing the best out of any quarterback this year, right now. As of right now, he has. Doesn't mean he's the best quarterback in the league. I don't think he is. But he's been playing the best out of anybody so far. He
Okay.
has.
So right now he's leading the MVP race.
If I'm voting for MVP, he would be the number one guy.
Okay.
So speaking, let's talk about a guy who should be MVP, but is not for whatever reason. Zion Williamson. So I mean, let me start. I know you have articles on him.
Yeah, but go ahead.
Okay, you go get it. I'll start it off. Right. So these are going to be combined topics because the in-season tournament ended on Saturday, and the Lakers won, and LeBron James was the MVP of the tournament, right? And I just watched them play right now. They lost to Dallas, but once again, this guy is 38 years old. He's about to be 39, and he's not slowing down. Not slowing down at all.
No, he's no. Like okay, let me stop you. Let me stop you real quick. This whole notion of everyone talking about LeBron is he's not slowing down. He slowed down tremendously. He's not the same guy like he was in Miami. He's not the same guy when he was in Cleveland. Not even close.
Okay,
he was a far better player, and I know for a fact you would take the LeBron James that was in the Heat than you would take them when he was in LA. I know for a fact that you would do that.
No, like you're what are you trying to do here?
I know that. I know for a fact because you're talking
What are you trying to do here?
You know exactly what I'm trying to do. You're trying to
No,
make
I know. I have no idea what you're trying to do. I have no idea what you're trying to do. You've seen the man play. You look at his numbers, and I'm saying that he hasn't slowed down. That's what I'm saying. A guy his age playing as long as he has should not be playing at this level.
So is he still in his prime?
Hmm?
You saying like he's still in his prime? That's what you're saying.
I'm not saying he's in his prime. He's not in his prime, but he's still playing at an elite level. You want to argue over that?
Elite level. I don't even think. I'm trying to remember what place you put him in the top 10 because I don't recall you putting him in even in the top 5. I'm trying to remember.
Look, you may not be top 5, but you're not going to convince you will be a dummy if you're going to try to convince people that he's still not good. Still not really, really, really good.
Well, you said elite, so he's top 5, right?
I mean, you only consider guys in the top 5 elite?
When you say elite, what place, like, is that top 10, 15? Like what would you, because I'm trying to understand the full context here.
I'm telling you that if you have a who are you going to pick as your top guys starting a franchise? Right? There's very few guys who are on that list, and LeBron James is on that list.
Okay.
You know who's not on that list? Zion Williamson.
I agree with that.
Even though, like, the last game he had an amazing game. But do you have the article when it comes to Zion?
Well, it relates to Zion and to what Stephen A. Smith had to say regarding the article. Now,
okay. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, I'm sure. Well, I had the article. I mean, I had the audio also that I wanted to play, but let me read the article first. Okay, right here. Okay, so Stephen A. I mean, like this dude. I mean, when he wants to go out on somebody, like he will go out. I'm telling you, he will go off. I mean, so Stephen A. Smith is calling Zion Wilson for not being in shape. On the latest episode of Stephen A. Show, ESPN hosted Rip Zion for looking fat during the New Orleans Pelicans loss and Los Angeles Lakers in the NBA in-season tournament on Thursday. Smith began to rant by praising 38-year-old LeBron James for being in peak physical condition before blasting Zion for not taking his conditioning as serious as Bron. Zion Wilson, who is more than 5 years younger, is more than 5 years younger, but 40 pounds heavier, went to the free throw line. Smith said, "Ladies and gentlemen, I saw a belly. A, a belly. Like when he took a deep breath, his belly." All right, that's funny. The kind of belly, I mean, damn. What's up, Zion? All right, so this is the okay. I'll play this.
He looks fat. He looks fat.
Oh, come on.
You've been in the news for some other stuff. Your proclivities and who you want to mess with and all that other stuff is your damn business. We ain't got to get into all of that, but this is necessary. Zion Williamson went to the free throw line the other day en route while LeBron James had dropped 30 in 3 quarters and had completely dominated and looked in peak physical condition and looked like an absolute stud and superstar and marquee. Zion Williamson, who's more than 15 years younger, but 40 pounds heavier, went to the free throw line. Ladies and gentlemen, I saw a belly. A belly. Like when he took a deep breath, his belly bounced. That kind of belly.
Okay. That's one of the reasons why I want to play, because okay, that's funny. Now here's the thing. Outside of laughing matters, outside of being entertained, on his platform, I need this. I was actually looking for the exact moment that Stephen A was talking about. I couldn't find it. Like I wanted to see it for myself. I couldn't find it, but I have another audio that I'm going to play. But here's the thing that I want to say. I think it's very, very sad that you have a guy who has the potential to be the face of the league. I don't care what anybody said. Like everybody was talking about this dude, like how people were talking about, Victor Wembanyama before he got drafted. Everyone went crazy over Zion, absolutely crazy over this guy, who had the potential to be the face of the league, who has the potential to be the best player in the league, and yet, after all the time you've been criticized by the average Joe like me, by people who has a huge following like Charles Barkley and Shaq, Stephen A, and others, you still decided to not only get fat before, but remain fat and absolutely do nothing about it. Absolutely nothing about it. It irritates me because these are not happening with just role players. These are happening with elite players, people who we constantly want to see on TV. I was sick and tired of seeing Joel Embiid being out of shape. I got real pissed off with James Harden when he purposely got out of shape. I know you defended, John Wall to a degree when he was out of shape and whatnot. And now I'm seeing it with Zion. This stuff really irritates me because I don't want to see people who purposely want to be lazy and not try to get in shape when it comes to playing basketball. This stuff really, really irritates me. I don't like it. I don't. And I guarantee you that if he does not get his act together, he's going to eventually get hurt, and he's eventually going to compromise his team when it comes playoff time if he doesn't work on his conditioning. There's one thing that Kenny and Charles Barkley has said. I'll play that in a minute, but let me finish what Stephen A has to say first.
Mm-hmm. I mean, damn. What's up, Zion? It better not you got your ass kicked, losing by 44 points in playing semifinals. Did nothing to lead and galvanize your team. Did nothing to show the man-child that you are and to take over. But you look like you showed up to the game having just ate a buffet. Not something from the buffet. I said the buffet. Like you ate the damn table.
I'm sorry. That was funny. Maybe you don't find it funny, but I find that to be funny. But he's right. He is absolutely right. It seems like you are purposely, not only are you eating food, but you're eating things that's not even you're probably eating things out there that's not even edible, that you are not supposed to eat. You, for some reason, you just cannot get in shape, my guy. All right, he's almost done.
Didn't surprise. I wasn't going to touch on this because I was embarrassed for him. But then Sports Illustrated wrote about it, and the New Orleans Times-Picayune local newspaper wrote about it, so it's public information. He's fat.
Okay. Listen, I do not care what anybody says. I don't care if people are saying this is not a big deal. I don't care if people are saying, oh, well, he's still playing great. I don't care if people are saying, oh, well, he's still giving us good numbers and he's still entertaining to watch. I don't care about none of that. James Harden was still entertaining to watch when he got fat, but he's not supposed to get fat. Joel Embiid, was still performing somewhat when he was out of shape, but that's not what I want to see. I don't want to see people constantly getting fat in a game, especially when it has the potential chance of compromising your performance, which ultimately would make you lose games. You know what I'm saying? So I just don't understand what is his issue. Like you are getting paid millions of dollars. You constantly couldn't stay healthy. And now that you are finally healthy, you got fat again. Do you have anything to say before I play the next audio?
Okay, let me play something. Let me see if I can find. Let me see if I can find this. Hold on a second. Give me 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
Now, speaking to those comments that Stephen A. Smith said about Zion, here is the audio of. Oh my bad. Hold on a second. Oh my god, I messed up. Go ahead. You can play. You can play the audio. It's fine.
All right. I'm gonna play the one from TNT. Because this would really tick me off. All right, this one really ticked me off, so I had to play this.
Even CJ McCollum comes out and contests. They have so much length on the perimeter. Even when Zion's in the game, they are tough. They're going to be a tough team. Once Zion really gets in basketball shape.
2 points on one of them.
He's not in basketball shape.
Ernie, me and Kenny were watching. This is the first time that I'm going to sit and watch Zion play a full game. He's not in shape. He doesn't run. He plays the game strictly on talent. He's not he never runs on the fast break. Yeah. He's kind of like jogging on offense and defense. Somebody has got to get a hold of him because he got so much talent. He's gonna be somewhat successful.
Because he could be special.
He could be special. Yeah, but see, I don't know if he has a Moses Malone who told me I was fat and lazy. Yeah. He owns that organization already. But if he could get in shape, this team, you would not want to play this team. No question. Because the Shaq talking about those others, man, are really good.
No doubt.
But it's going to come down to Zion, and he needs to get in shape.
We had a sprint count.
This is the part where I got ticked off because I didn't even notice this. I didn't even know this was even true. But this is what I mean about how it could compromise your game.
So me and Chuck are just watching, saying how many times he actually sprints.
And we still stuck at one.
Actually sprinted the floor like on different plays, like, and he gotta get there because when he touches it, he's so devastating.
You know, it's not.
Okay. So they were counting Zion sprinting back and forth, offense, defense, whatever. And they said that he only sprinted back only one time. Do you want to know why he only sprinted one time? Oh, yeah, I'm going to be Mr. Obvious here. I want to be Captain Obvious here. It's because you are fat, my guy. Because you are fat, that's why you decided not to sprint, because you're too heavy. Your knees couldn't handle your weight. Your ankles couldn't handle your weight. Your legs couldn't handle your weight, bro. And this is probably the reason why you are going to have more games like this, because you're overweight, man. I'm sorry. I have look. You could say I'm being hyperbolic about this, or I'm over exaggerating about this, or whatever. But I have no respect for people, for professional athletes who sign $1 million contracts and you come to the game overweight. I don't have respect for people like that. You paying millions and millions of dollars. People are out here coming out to see you, and you show up fat. I'm sorry. That to me, that is unacceptable. That's a slap in the face to me, because it shows me that you lack discipline of when it comes to getting in shape and being in good proper condition, so you can go out there and perform. While the paying customer is now not seeing your full potential because you're being fat. Because you want to eat your donuts, you want to eat your cheeseburgers and your Philly cheesesteaks all day. That's what you want, instead of actually eating good food, so you could actually outperform other people properly. So you could perform properly, I should say. I'm sorry. Like, one time you sprinted only one time. Oh my gosh! All right, let me finish this.
It's not a poetry teacher, like somebody said earlier. You know what I think?
Oh,
You know what it reminds me of?
What's that?
The movie Anchorman. Remember when they had the big brawl and the PBS station showed up and Tim Roth?
I think there's nothing.
No, that's
just
Right,
a memory.
nothing else important. But yeah, they pretty much said that he only sprinted only one time. That's unacceptable to me. What were you going to say?
All right, let me share. Oh, I gotta do this whole thing again. Hold on a second. Let me share this commentary from Stephen A. Smith. Because after that little thing that he did, that performance art that he did, he got a phone call from Zion's stepdad. So
Over the weekend on my podcast, Stephen A. Smith Show, certainly on First Take, I said that Zion Williamson looked fat. I meant it. I'm not stuttering. Zion Williamson, if you're listening, you're welcome, because you said if somebody is saying it to you because they're rooting for you and they want it and it's coming from a good place because they want you to succeed, then thank you. It's exactly what I was doing. Your talent is...
Shut the fuck up, you piece of garbage. Shut the fuck up. I don't want to fucking hear that. Get the fuck out of here. Hold on.
Wait, hold on. Wow, I didn't expect that reaction from you.
I didn't want to hear that fucking bullshit from him. Hold on a second. I made a minor mistake. Hold on. I don't want to hear that shit from him. You did that for entertainment purposes only. If you want to talk about if it was Charles Barkley and Shaq, then fine. They have a point. But you did that for performance art. You did that to embarrass him. That's exactly what you did.
Wait, hold on. You don't think that Shaq and Charles was doing the exact same thing? Well, I mean, no. Kenny was talking about it more. It was more Kenny and Charles. I mean, Shaq done it too, but in that particular audio, you don't think Kenny and Charles were also doing it for clout, like Stephen A?
No.
Okay.
No. Right. When you sitting there with this, oh, he's fat and he ate the table and all the other shit, you're doing that before. You're not doing that to help him succeed. You're doing that to line your own fucking pockets. If you want to criticize him for his conditioning, that's perfectly fine. But that's not what you did. Don't fucking lie about it. That's why he gets into the shit that he gets into. Okay, he wants to sit there, he does all this talking, he does all this pontificating and all the other shit, and then when he gets called out, he either lies about it or he deflects.
Okay.
So let's continue.
To reiterate what I said over the weekend on my podcast, Stephen A. Smith Show, certainly on First Take, I said that Zion Williamson looked fat. I meant it. I'm not stuttering. Zion Williamson, if you're listening, you're welcome, because you said if somebody is saying it to you because they're rooting for you and they want it and it's coming from a good place because they want you to succeed, then thank you. It's exactly what I was doing. Your talent is great. It's not good. It's great. You are holding the championship aspirations of the New Orleans Pelicans in your hands. I'm not absolving them. They could do a better job with you. They could do a better job with a lot of things as an organization in New Orleans. But that does not absolve you from looking and being out of shape.
No, hold on. Pause. No.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
I think
Not absolve you.
Go ahead.
Did you hear anything about Zion Wilson being fined for being overweight? Wasn't there some type of clause about if he's overweight that he was going to be fined for it?
Well, I remember we covered it.
Yeah.
But there is a Bleacher Report saying that oh yeah, I'll show it right here. Let me see if I have it right here.
Mm-hmm.
I'll show it right here real quick. Get this ad out of my face. NBA rumors. Zion Williamson ignored Pelicans' call for improvement, diet, and conditioning. So like they're like, this is a report, not mine. This is a report.
Okay.
And they've been saying that the Pelicans throughout all this time has told them, yo, you need to be in shape. You need to be healthy.
Called out by fans being out of shape, and it appears the team has made a continued effort to help Zion overall pick to improve his health. The Pelicans have repeatedly stressed to Zion that his diet and conditioning needs to improve, but the veteran forward doesn't listen. According to all right. So if he's not listening to you, then just talking to him about it, is not working. It's not working. You guys are not doing enough because he obviously has no respect for your authority. He doesn't. If the guy is still, getting fat and is gaining more weight, more weight, he's clearly not listening to you, and has no regard of your authority, and he doesn't want to submit to you're gonna have to find him, man. Like, you're gonna have to do something in order for him to listen. All right, go ahead.
Okay, so what was that? Okay, so they had that, and then let me continue playing the audio. All right, let me continue playing the audio.
You from looking and being out of shape. When I talked about folks said you eat the table or chefs looking at you, I was not joking, nor was I making it up. What I was saying is that's what they're saying about you behind your back. That's how those folks, whoever they may be, are speaking about you in the city of New Orleans from what we're hearing. You have to do something about that. Without you, New Orleans is lucky to make it to the first round of the playoffs. With you in your A game, y'all challenge for the title. You're at the very least in the Western Conference Finals. That's the reality of the situation. Everything that Shannon Sharp just said about you, Zion, appears to be on point, because we've seen no evidence to the contrary. Nobody is rooting against you. Nobody wants you to fail.
Yes.
We all want you to succeed. If you succeed, it gives us even more to talk about.
Yes.
We get to celebrate you and elevate you in the eyes of everybody the world over, because you're that dude. Unfortunately, you weren't against the greatest in the world, one of the greatest ever in LeBron James. You could show up against Minnesota a couple of nights later after you were critiqued.
No, he's right. He's right. No, but he's right about that. I mean, I know you were like going off, but he is right about that.
That's not what he represented. That's not what he represented on his podcast. He can be all PG about that shit now, but that's not how he represented himself on the podcast.
Okay.
So you can miss me with that bullshit.
Okay.
Okay, I think this is what I wanted to play.
You
Okay.
talking about me. Okay.
So
Zion Williamson wasn't talking about Charles Barkley and Shaquille O'Neal. Zion Williamson
Talking about you.
He's talking about me. Okay.
Okay.
His stepdad called me this morning, and we had a really, really good conversation. So I'm going to reiterate what I said over the weekend on my podcast, Stephen A. Smith Show, certainly on First Take. I said that Zion Williamson looked fat. I meant it. I'm not stuttering.
okay.
Zion Williamson, if you're listening, you're welcome.
Okay. So it was pretty much the same thing he said, but I guess that was a response to his stepfather. So his stepfather called Stephen A. And he can say it was a nice conversation all he wants. The fact is, if my son is being shamed like that by him, I'm not gonna be happy about it.
Yeah.
Here's my thing, right? Because I listened to what Barkley and Shaq said. I saw the clip with Stephen A. Here's the thing. My only issue with Zion Williamson right now is that he's not the best player on his team. You've been in the league for what, 3 years, and I get it, you've been hurt and all the other stuff, and why you've been hurt, we can speculate till the cows come home. The fact is that at this point in time, you should be the unquestioned best player on that team. No questions that it shouldn't be CJ McCollum, and it shouldn't be Brandon Ingram.
Yeah.
Brandon Ingram should not be your number one player. Because if he is, you ain't winning nothing.
That dude's been playing good though.
It's fine. Well, he's not. He shouldn't be your best player.
Okay.
Right? It should be Zion. We can say all the stuff we want to say about Ja Morant. When he comes back, there ain't no question who's the best player on Memphis. And they have good players on that team.
Correct.
But there ain't no question who's the best player on the team. The fact that there's still questions about who's the best player on the team, that's an indictment on you. And whether or not the coaching staff got you in the best position, because I remember Charles Barkley said something about that. At the end of the day, I've seen this dude play at his best. He's too good. He's too good to be where he's at right now.
I agree.
So again, the reason why I call cap on the Stephen A. stuff, because I think he's full of shit. But when it comes to Charles and Shaq, and pretty much perception is not on his side. Perception is not on his side. And I think that he wants to stay in New Orleans? I don't think he does. I think his diet improved when he goes to another city. That's what I think.
So are you assuming or speculating that he's doing the same thing what James Harden was doing when he was in Houston?
Look, I can't. I'm not going to deny it. It's hard to deny it because, dude, like in this league, when it comes to rumors, when there's smoke, there's fire. Like I said, we were hearing about LeBron James going to LA 2 years before it happened.
Yeah.
Same thing with AD. So when there's smoke, there's fire. But with that said, you should be right now the best player on your team. And he's not. And yeah, he has some great games. But when games like that, when you play against, arguably one of the best players of all time, LeBron James, and your team put up a duck like that, the spotlight is always going to be on you because everyone sees you as their best player. You're the marquee. And you let a 39-year-old bust your ass on national TV. So when it comes to, like, you can get on him for being fat, whatever. That's fine. I'm not going to argue with you there. But to me, the biggest indictment.
So you agree with me?
I'm not saying I agree or disagree.
Come on! Don't go on soft on Zion because you don't go soft. He agree that he is.
At the end of the day, it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, it does matter.
No. honestly, it does.
If you're not sprinting, yes, it's compromising your game. Yes, it is.
Dude, there are lots of guys who sprint and suck at playing basketball. I don't care about that. The facts is that you are not the best player on your team when you should be. Frankly, as of right now, it shouldn't even be close. You should be the top guy, and you're not. You need to change. You need to change that. Because like I said, when he's healthy 100% and that team's healthy, they are title contenders. They absolutely are. But when he's not healthy, they're a first round team at best. They're a playing team at best.
Is he fat? Yes or no?
I mean, I don't see him with his shirt off. I don't know if he's fat or not.
So you don't think he's overweight?
I don't know how much he weighs. I don't know. I have no clue. And all I'm saying is that at the end of the day, it doesn't even. To me, it doesn't even matter.
Being in shape does matter.
Steve, listen. Steve,
Being in shape does matter.
Look. Anthony Davis is in shape. He constantly gets hurt. Kawhi Leonard, he's in phenomenal shape. He constantly gets hurt. To me, look, it may be something that you care about. I don't care. At the end of the day, you are what 4 years into the league. You're 4 years in. You should be one of the top 5 players in the league, and you're not. And we all know you have the capability. And at the end of the day, you need to get to that point. So
Okay.
all right, last topic. I don't really have an article for this, but the Lakers, they won the first ever in-season tournament. Like I said, LeBron James won MVP of the tournament. And Anthony Davis was, I think he had 40 and 21. So yeah, like that, he was spectacular. So the Lakers won their first tournament. They won the first in-season tournament, and they celebrated. I wouldn't say it was a championship celebration, but they celebrated. You have a problem with that?
I don't care for it, but yeah, go ahead.
You don't care for them celebrating, or is it not a big deal to you?
I don't that the whole season the whole tournament to me, I just think it was a waste of time. I still feel like it was a whole waste of time. At the end of the day, if you don't win the championship, that doesn't matter. Go ahead.
Okay. I want to know what the ratings were for the in-season tournament. Let me see. Let me look it up. But I'm gonna tell you why it wasn't. I'll tell you why it wasn't a waste of time in a second.
Okay.
Let's see. Let's see if they have the ratings for it going up. Oh wow. All right. Well, let me share this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I keep doing this. Let's share. Oh, did it go through? Okay, my bad. It didn't go through yet. Okay, let's read the headline. NBA in-season tournament championship game sets records mark not seen in nearly 6 years. Average 4.58 million viewers for essentially a regular season game, right, between the Los Angeles Lakers and the Indiana Pacers. Now, let me tell you why it wasn't a waste of time.
Okay.
The reason why it wasn't a waste of time is because 3 things, and I think Bomani Jones said this, and I agree with him 100%. It put a spotlight on Zion. If he was just playing regular, like I said, I don't watch Pelican games, so I didn't even know the dude exists unless he had highlights, right? So he puts a spotlight on him, and secondly, it put a spotlight on teams that normally don't get national TV time, and the Pacers are one of those teams. And I've seen that Pacers team play in Miami. That team can score. Their offense is insane. They can't defend worth shit, but their offense is insane. And I will say this: Tyrese Halliburton will be a top 5 player in this league. He
The the
will
pro-
absolutely be a top 5.
the
Go
the
ahead.
the problem is like we're seeing when you say top five, I guess I'm just when you say top five, I don't know how many years you mean, but like
Sooner rather than later.
yeah, like I hear what you're trying. I hear what you're trying to say. The problem is we have so many guys now who we consider like top three, top five. Your Tatum and your Steph and Luca and Joker and all these other guys. And then when you have Victor who's also on the come up, and then when Jean Morant gets back, like that I think that's still a little of a stress for you to say that, knowing how many guys who we have that are elite right now.
No, no. With the way this dude plays, he's gonna be a top 5 player in this league. He's
Mm.
that good. And you give a guy like him um national TV time that he normally would not get. The point of the tournament was to heighten up what do you call it? To add a level of intensity in the early season that you normally don't get, and it worked. It clearly worked. I guarantee you it was a financial success. It was a commercial success, and they're going to continue this next year. It worked.
Um,
As far as I'm concerned, it worked.
as as far as for me, do I think it's impressive that they had all of those ratings, that had those high ratings, especially since we're still focusing mainly people are focusing on football. That yes, it definitely is. I will admit it that it is definitely impressive. But something tells me, and I'm hope maybe I'm wrong, but something tells me that a lot of those people, they were probably it was based on curiosity when it comes to this tournament, because obviously it is something new. I am interested. I am very interested to see if we are going to have similar ratings, next year. Now that we had a taste of what the tournament is like, that's really going to be the key factor if this is going to stay or not. If this is going to be like a permanent thing or not, because I want to see how it's going to be like next year, because I do have a feeling that the reason why we had such a high rating, it was mainly because of curiosity, because this was something that was brand new and people wanted to tune in to see what it was going to be like.
I can see that's a little bit. But at the end of the day, you're playing basketball. Like at the end of the day, that's what you're doing. You're playing basketball,
Mhm.
and early season basketball can be very not interesting, especially when you don't have a dog in the fight. So I think this tournament is always going to have a level of curiosity because you're always going to have one or two teams that's going to take this very seriously, and that's clearly what the Lakers did. They took it seriously, and because of that, you saw LeBron James, still great. Anthony Davis showed out. You know what I mean? Like when those two guys play like that, they're definitely title contenders. So like to me, I think it accomplished everything that they wanted it to do. Accomplished everything they wanted it to do. What it did, it made like early season, regular season games matter. It highlighted obviously your top stars, but also highlighted your some of your stars who are on teams that are not market leaders. Because remember, look, think about it like this: the Draymond Green choking thing that happened during the in season tournament.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah,
That
yeah.
happened in season, right? You look at the game that all the great games that Halliburton was having, the game where they beat Boston, where the crowd was super crazy for that game. That happened. I don't think you had that same level of excitement in a regular season game.
But
I
I
don't think
think
you do.
that's mainly because teams, they just don't play hard in the regular season, in the beginning of the regular season. That's just and we had to unfortunately, the NBA had to find some way, shape or form in order to get all the teams and all the players engaged in the beginning of the season by doing freaking um, um, gimmicks, like this, something that no one
Yeah.
is going to talk about when the season is over.
I mean, maybe not, but that's not that you what you wanted to do was when the early season starts, you bring a level of excitement. That's all they wanted to do. They're not trying to replace the NBA championship because we all know what the real prize is. The real prize is the NBA finals. We know that.
Correct.
But this was something to do to not only increase ratings, but also to engage the players to play harder during the regular season. And it worked. Like I said, we don't know if he'll. I think he'll do just fine next year. They'll probably tweak it a little bit. But like at the end of the day, like it worked. Like there really is nothing else that can be said. It worked.
Okay. And did you think LeBron James should have won MVP, or you think it should have been Anthony Davis?
It's hard to tell, but if I had to guess, I probably LeBron James put up, was more consistent throughout the run. So
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
so I say it's fine, and that's another notch in his belt. You can't deny it, man. Like you can't deny his greatness. I know some of you guys like to hate him for no reason, but you can't deny that dude's greatness.
No, no, yeah, of course, yeah, he's great. I don't know if I would put him top five, but yeah, he's definitely great. And for the fact that he's actually doing this, at his age, yeah, I think that's very impressive. But at the end of the day, if he doesn't win it, if he doesn't win a championship, then um, then it's just whatever to me. But congratulations to him. Congratulations, to the Lakers. I still think this whole thing was a gimmick. I still think it is somewhat unnecessary. I'm gonna wait to see if they could pull out this type of excitement and this type of ratings next year, then I'll definitely be all in. Definitely, for sure. But I mean, I'm very curious to see how it's going to perform next year. But yeah, congratulations to him. He won MVP. Good for him.
Okay. On that note, it's time for us to go. I have to go to
I
work.
know you don't believe me, but yeah, good for him.
No. It's fine. It's fine. I don't believe you, but it's fine.
I
But
know
it's
you
time
don't.
for us to go. Ruben, thank you for watching. Let me scroll up. Joe, thank you for watching. Malta, thank you for watching. Brian, thank you for watching. Malta, thank you for watching. So we will be back next week. We do have some
You,
topics that we forgot. I forgot to talk about the Shohei Ohtani contract.
you forgot Nolan.
Oh, Nolan, yeah, I'm sorry. Thank you for watching, Nolan. Um, yeah, but we forgot to talk about the Shohei Ohtani contract.
Um,
Yeah,
what was that part of the plan? Was that part of the
I just forgot.
Oh, that was because I remember
I
we
thought
made.
you didn't you say you wanted to talk about it?
Yeah. But yeah, we could talk about that next week.
Yeah, we'll
Oh
talk about that
man.
next week. Yeah, yeah, I have some cool stuff to say about that. But anyways, on that note, this will be 26. I am out.
Yeah. So this was a very good podcast. I really enjoyed Seafring,
Oh
aka
yeah, big props. Thank you. Yeah, thank you for being here.
yeah being here with
Thank you,
us.
Dark, for joining us.
Yeah, aka Seafring. Yeah, cool guy. We still have our crazy heated debates when it comes to religion and the Discord. So for those of you who haven't joined the Discord yet, I'm telling you're in for a ride when it comes to all these debates. Unfortunately, Hoovy doesn't really join in, but it is what it is. So this is the Traditionalist 101. Don't forget to give us a like. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. And share on Twitter, share on Snapchat, share on IG, Facebook, whatever platform that you use. please share so that more people can see our stuff, and we will continue to do more. So, with all that being said, this is the Traditionalist 101 signing out. Have a good one.
All right, later, guys.